Okay, so I think we're live. It is. Hi, Paula. How are you? Good to see you. Um, Paula's the first one in the crowd. Thank you, Paula, for coming in. It's good to see everybody. It is. I'm a little late. 1 o'clock. Um, Early Sunday morning. It is 12/8/2024, and welcome to winter. So we're gonna go over. Hey, Mino, Dino, how's it going, buddy? Gonna be going over the true crime cases of the week. I got a couple of missing person cases. Hey, Dandy, how are you? Good to see you. It's Dandy. Dandy's here. Awesome. And then I'm gonna. Uh, what was I doing? True crime cases of the week, and I got a missing person cases of the week, and then we're gonna get into a little bit of the voluntary missing category here. I got some stats to bring through everybody. So, anyways, good to see everybody. It's good to see Dandy here. Haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you though. So let me play an intro and I'll be right back. Welcome to winter. For those who deal with winter, be right back. All right, so here we are. I think I'm just starting. I have no idea. Hey, Southern Gal, how are you? Southern Gal's in here. Good to see Southern Gal. Dandy's in here. Paula's in here. Mino Dino's in here. Yeah, I know Rick was live today, but I missed it because I was sleeping. It's been quite a week. It's been we got the snowstorm. We got the snowstorm. What was it? Wednesday night. I think I had a 24-hour bug right after I got off. But anyways, it's good to see you guys. Always good to see you. Yeah, I got to change that. I get so I was out working on the snowstorm night here, and I forget where I was. I think I was in Goshen, New Hampshire. And you ever go to do something and then you realize that at the time you're doing it, like maybe I shouldn't do this because the possible worst case scenario could happen, and it did happen. So for those who deal with winter and windshields and snow and ice falling at the same time. So I went to go, kind of flick the windshield wiper so that some of the ice and stuff could bang off of it from the windshield. So as soon as I did that, the driver's side windshield wiper just went boom, like flying off the car. Ah! Yeah, we can keep our winter. So I had to drive all the way back from Goshen to Hillsboro without a driver's side windshield wiper. That was fucking hilarious. So you can keep our winter, yes. If we could send it to you, Southern Girl, we would. Anyways, today is Necessarily Evil's birthday. Hey, good happy birthday. I wish I had some sort of a Gray Hughes birthday song, but I think that would be torture But maybe I'll think one up. I don't know. Who knows? Also today, I believe today is John Lennon's shooting birthday day. I think what was it, 1980? It was a Monday night. It was a football game. And he was shot. Good to see Big Fish in here. The prof banned you. Is Necessarily Evil in here? I didn't see him come in. Anyway, so that happened to me this week, and then what's going on with Fish? Yeah, I grabbed his shirt. Aquarian One, good to see you. I grabbed a shirt from the car. I don't know. I had somebody's shirt was in the car, probably mine. So I kind of taped it up around the arm of the windshield wiper, and that got me back. But it was just freaking hilarious. No idea. I didn't see anything up high tomorrow. Anyways, shout out to JC Ann. For those who don't know who she is, she's got a great freaking channel. I was on there the other day. She's amazing. She's got a great channel. Barb is awesome too. Barb, she sent me a little comment. It's just a Barb. Oh, let me do this here. Hold on a second. Barb is just an amazing person. I'm glad I know Southern Gal, because Southern Gal introduced me to Barb, and the history right there. So anyways, okay, so what are we doing? All right, so we're going to go into this crazy case here. Hold on a second. See if I can find it. We'll go do the Hana Kobayashi shit first. Actually, we'll do this because I just ran across this tonight. And then we'll go into the Hana Kobayashi thing. So this is coming out of, let's see here. This is coming out of Miami-Dade. Banned me in my alt account. That sucks. Asks. I'm doing all right. How's Miranda Lee doing? Are you still in the hospital? Is that a blue finch on your icon? Is that, or just a bluebird? All right, what was I doing? It's always good to see Dandy in here. Dandy's awesome. I haven't seen her for a while. Hope she's doing well. Farq is here too. Good to see Farq. Hey, Farq. I always feel like I'm swearing at that person when I say that. Let me, what are we doing? I'm going to share screen. So this happened, I think this happened earlier today. Let me get rid of my face here. All right. Well, happy birthday, Necessarily Evil. You're out of the hospital? You're home now? Good. I forbid you to have sepsis again. Let's do that. It's always good to see Farq in here. Paula's in here. Paula was first. She gets the cookie. Jocelyn's in here. Hey, Jocelyn, how are you? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Yes, is that the Beatles right there? All right, so let's go through this here first. This happened. Dead woman found unclothed on side of I-95 in Miami-Dade County. So that's way down. This is the latest on this here. This came out, I think, a few hours ago, actually. So let's play this here.
At 6, we begin with the deadly discovery made on the side of I-95 today. A woman's body was found on the northbound side near Ives Dairy Road in northwest Miami-Dade. Thanks so much for choosing us. I'm Chelsea Jones. CBS News Miami's Nakaya Carrero is joining us live with the latest on this disturbing case. Nakaya, what can you tell us? What are you hearing about this?
Chelsea, what we know so far is this woman was found on the side of a highway nude, and police say there were 911 calls made by multiple people to them before an officer even showed up on scene. what we know so far is shortly after 6 a.m., multiple calls were made to 911 about a man and woman arguing next to a car on the side of I-95. When Florida Highway Patrol arrived, they found a woman completely naked laying face down in the grass. They also discovered clothes laying next to her body.
PJ's in here. Hey, PJ, how are you? Good to see you. Just going over some of the true crime cases of the week. It's actually snowing out again right now. It's kind of snowing, and at the same time, it's kind of that shitty, snowy, kind of rain mixed with. But it was 7 degrees last night here, so anything above 20 right now is good. It's always good to see everybody in here. PJ is awesome too. PJ's got a great channel. There's my gal there again. Thank you so much, Southern Gal, for good to see you, Southern Gal, for sure. Did you have a live tonight? I know you had a live last night because I caught some of it. But PJ's got a great channel too. Lighting Their Way Home. He's got a great channel. Thank you, Southern Gal, for putting that in here. If you guys have channels, throw them in here. Heather Brown's in here. Hey, Heather Brown, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it was 7 degrees, and then it was 12 degrees, and it was 9 degrees. It was pretty cold last night. All right, so let's go back to this. So we're just going over this case. This woman was found unalived on the side, right on the side of the highway here, down pretty close to the end of the country here, Miami-Dade.
At this time, the police are asking for the public's help.
Now at this time, we really don't have any leads. We are trying to see, there's cameras behind me. We're trying to see if maybe we can pick up something on the cameras. FHP is just asking the public if they saw anything suspicious, a vehicle, a person that was with this female arguing, and they know anything, to please call the 3054 police number to help us maybe solve this case.
Yeah, 45 degrees now would feel like summer here. John Paul Hansen is here. Good to see you, John Paul Hansen. You want to see more snow? I've seen enough. After the first snowstorm, I've seen enough. I'm ready for... JP is great. Does JP want a wrench? Is that the deal? So somebody here isn't a mod. Yes. Yes, I can unmod you for sure. All right, so let's continue this here.
Now, what we know is at this time, Miami-Dade Police Homicide Unit has taken over the investigation as lead, but they have yet to release the name of the victim or the description of the possible vehicle suspected to be involved in this case. In Northwest Miami-Dade, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
Okay, so that's that. She's we'll keep an eye on that there. JP is great. Go have a listen. Won't be disappointed. It's good to see Aquarian 1 in here too. Any new people in here? It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. All right, so let's go to this here. I wanted to do this Hannah Kobayashi thing because this case just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder every single day here. But this is just bizarre. I think this is just a bizarre case. Always good to see Mino Dino in here, lighting their way home. Always good to see everybody in here. Just the two of us. All right. So what am I doing here? Let's share this here. Thank you, Paula. All right. So last week we went. Oh, last week we went over this, and I mentioned the fact that law enforcement hadn't said anything at that point. But they were pretty smart not saying anything. They were, here just keeps getting weirder and weirder. But apparently, for what we know now is she basically just left on her own. And there's a lot of speculation going on out there. But this was done a couple of days ago. Missing Maui woman Hana Kobayashi's sister Sydney joins Banfield with the family's lawyer. The pair emphasized that while Kobayashi's case has been reclassified as a voluntary missing person case, there are still plenty of questions. So let's check this out here.
But apparently of her own accord, the police say, for reasons still very much a mystery. Police say Hana entered Mexico November 12th, just 4 days after landing in Los Angeles, and 3 weeks ago tonight, which means that she might very well have seen the same headlines that we all did in the...
Hey, Jenny, 867-5309. Good to see you. But this, I don't think this case is over at any stretch of the imagination, because now there's some evidence that maybe she was, she might have been scammed or something. One of the lawyers, I know the aunt is not talking to anybody in the family anymore. It's just so weird.
The days that followed, including these headlines about Hana's father.
So this is coming from, some of these headlines. Missing Hawaii woman Hana Kobayashi's sister shares tribute after he unalived himself. Father missing Hawaii woman Hana Kobayashi died of a broken heart. Tortured father admitted they had been estranged for a while before he took his life. It's just so weird.
Ryan Kobayashi. Mr. Kobayashi made the trip to Los Angeles and then died soon afterwards by suicide outside a parking garage near LAX. And yet still no word from Hana. And for the people who love her, still no idea why any of this is happening. I'm joined now by Hana's...
That's why I haven't really ruled out this kind of scenario in the Mara Murray case. People just go missing all the time. They just leave. They just decide they want another life, and and it happens a lot more than people think it does. So I haven't ruled that out in the Mara Murray case either, because from all accounts in that case, she was planning on leaving anyways. So I mean, do I think she took off and left? It's possible.
Sister, Sydney Kobayashi, and the family's attorney, who's a very familiar face on this program, Sarah Azari, News Nation's legal analyst. Thank you to both of you. Sydney, I want to begin with you. And first of all, I'm just really sorry that you and your family are going through what you're going through. I cannot imagine what it's like. And then to sort of see this news conference, do you have any idea why Hana is staying silent so long?
I honestly, I've said this from day one. I feel like she is in danger. I feel like this is completely out of character for her. I've known her my entire life. She's been one of my best friends. She's always kept in contact with the family. She's always checked in, and this is just absolutely out of her character. And especially after, if she had seen what happened with my father and his passing, she would have definitely reached out by now. There's no way that she wouldn't have reached out, knowing the type of person that she is.
So, Sydney, we all learned yesterday with the news conference that Hana had crossed on foot, seemingly by herself of her own volition into Mexico. When did you and the family learn about that detail?
We learned the same day that the public did. And that...
See, that's the thing. Law enforcement isn't going to tell the family anything at all. Kind of concerned that the law enforcement hadn't come out and said anything until I think it was the next day that I had my live, and I was telling telling people that they haven't said anything, but they were obviously onto something. Not illegal, why not? All right, so let's go back to this here.
Is very
You were-
frustrating.
Wha-
It's very
Wow, you weren't
disturbing.
given any advance notice?
No, not at all. We,
Which brings me also-
they claim to
Go ahead.
have been, they claim to have been informing us as up to date as possible with everything and whatnot. But we literally found out the same day that they released this press conference, which wasn't even ran by us. And that's where they decided to let us know. Had we have known that she had crossed the border on the 12th, that would have given us so much more of a different direction of where to look and what to do as far as this is concerned. So no, that's absolutely, it's just mind-blowing to me that they're saying this, that they kept us in contact and kept us in the loop. Because
Let me hold on a second. Let me I want to do this here. So here's some hold on a second. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so I want to this is from I just did a little bit of a search here. I wonder if anybody can see that. So adults, this is from AI overview here. Adults may voluntarily go missing for a variety of reasons, most commonly due to mental health struggles, a desire to escape difficult situations like domestic abuse, financial problems, or traumatic experiences, sometimes leading them to intentionally cut off contact with friends and family and start a new life elsewhere, often under a new identity, essentially choosing to disappear and not be found. So this happens a lot. I think it's most of the people that go missing, 98% of the people that go missing voluntarily. Historically, some of the main reasons why people are reported missing include voluntary elopement, people that just get married and take off, lack of communication with providers, families become lost or disoriented when they're away from home, and that's associated with Alzheimer's stuff. But a lot of the stuff, like I said, has a lot to do with this whole mental health struggle here. So here's some key reasons for voluntary disappearance: mental health, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. I mean, this is a huge category here. And that's what I kind of stressed in my community page the other day, the mental health thing. It's, I think there needs to be a little bit more, at least, this needs to be explored more here, because people, almost every person on the planet has some sort of the depression, anxiety, all of this stuff. So, and escaping abusive situations, domestic violence, stuff like that, traumatic or stressful life events, job loss, relationship breakups. And it seems like this relationship break, one of the reasons in the Hana Kobayashi thing, maybe, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff here. So let's go back to hold on a second. This here. Happy birthday, Dandy. Whose birthday is it? Mental health issue is a problem. It's definitely probably one of the reasons. All right, let's go back to this here.
in my opinion, they did not. Not every step
That
of the
brings me
way.
to the video. Yeah, Cindy, that brings me to the video of surveillance video of Hannah talking to a stranger at a metro stop. When did you and the family see that video?
So none of our family has seen this video other than supposedly our aunt.
You know, and it's one of those things where, sometimes it comes as a surprise to people, in this situation here, stuff like this here, because, the sign, nobody sees really the signs of, I'm not saying that that's what Hannah's going through, but, people just are not right in the head. And family usually be the last to know.
None of our family has seen this video other than her, allegedly. So that's been very frustrating, to know that, that footage was not released to anyone other than her, or like, you would assume it would be released to our immediate family, like my father. So none of us have seen any of this.
Heather's an amazing person. I'm not right in the head either. I'm telling you. I don't think any of us are. Did I see the article with police talking about the interview with the man in the video? I have not. I might have. Definitely not right in the head. And that's from, motorcycle rides, stuff like that. Falls. Lots of falls.
Other than our
Sarah, you
aunt.
normally practice. Yeah, Sarah, as the family's attorney, you normally practice criminal law, but you have been retained to represent the family in the matters that are in front of them. It just seems really odd to me that the family wouldn't be kept right in the loop, helping the police.
That's why I have a hard time when people say, especially with the Micah Miller case. I heard a lot of people say during the people will do that stuff. People sometimes just have a lot of issues that they keep from people, and you never know what kind of mental health issues people are going through. It just, people walk around with smiles all day long, and they're, inside mentally, they're just, not right, not good.
And the police helping them, because the goal is the same, to
Correct.
find out what's behind the mystery of Hannah disappearing. What do you make of that?
Well, look, unfortunately,
Hey, buddy, happy birthday. It's necessarily evil. Is this the one here? Lots of falls. Yeah, lots of alcohol, lots of falls, lots of just hanging around with really dumb people. Yep, that'll do it.
this is not the first situation I've had where I've tried to help a victim's family, and there's been these sort of, I don't want to accuse the LAPD or the FBI. I'm sure they've done their due diligence, but sometimes it's just not enough. And I think there's a disconnect here.
It's obvious that she wanted to escape her family. So I think the police did the right thing here. If she wants to be away from her family, they have no right. They have no business telling the family where she is, because you never know. Sometimes family is the worst people to be around. So I just my opinion that not telling them anything is probably a good thing. Because if she's obviously she didn't want anybody to know where she was. And I understand the fact that they're worried and stuff like that, but if she's an adult, she can do whatever she wants.
I was absolutely shocked. I just recently stepped into this case with my team, and I was shocked to learn that this family's been kept in the dark. And, on that note, there's also been a lot of confusion caused by Hannah's aunt and Sydney's aunt. And I think that at this point now that we are on the case and sort of picking up where law enforcement apparently has left off, Sydney wants to make it clear to the viewers and to the public that the family is really her and her mother and her uncle and that side. Now, that I'm assisting them, and that statements made by her aunt are not necessarily reliable.
Well, that's heartbreaking to think there's this disconnect. Sydney, what do you make of that? Why do you think that your Aunt Laurie has been making comments to the press that don't pretend, or don't with the facts in the case so far?
I really have no idea at this point, and it's very unfortunate and sad to me that you have to question family. But we have decided to hire Sarah as our family attorney, and the fact that she has gone rogue and she wants to disconnect from it, that's on her own being. But I will do whatever I can to protect our family at this point, and do whatever I can to still find my sister. And I no longer want to have any connection with the confusion that I feel like she's caused since this case started with my sister. So I wanted to make that known to the public.
I mean, she looks really, I mean, every good, like she's in a good mood, but you never know what's going on inside. Like sometimes people smile because that's what they feel like they have to do, but some people are just, like I said, some people are just not happy at all. They're just pressures from family. I think that's one of the reasons why people hate the holidays so much sometimes, because they have to deal with family. That family's not always the greatest thing in the world sometimes, especially if you're dealing with stress, and it's just sometimes terrible to have to deal with.
Public that she is no longer working with the family or our attorney at this point.
Well, I'm sorry to hear there is that schism.
Whenever I hear attorneys are involved in this stuff here, I start to wonder what's actually going on, right? I know it's probably a good thing to have an attorney when stuff like this happens. You don't want to speak for yourself, you want to have a spokesman, but really, an attorney?
In the family. I wanted to ask you, Sydney, about Hannah in the months, days, weeks leading up to her leaving LAX. Had she mentioned anything to you about discourse in her life, depression, sadness, anxiety, a desire to break free from social media and go off the grid? Had she said anything just about how life was going?
No, not at all. And we keep in touch. Like, we all keep in touch here and there, and we all understand that we have our own lives going on, and that's understandable. But I feel like my sister and I are close enough for her to let me know if she's in distress, or if something really dramatic was happening in her life. And this is just so bizarre because she's never mentioned going to Mexico, and it just doesn't make sense.
I'll tell you, I come from the retail industry, and sometimes the last people you want to deal with when it comes to selling things is family. Like, you'd rather sell to a complete stranger than family, because you always want a deal on something, so you give them problems like this. It's family's great. Family is awesome, but sometimes some people, I can understand why some people just don't want family around too much. Just saying.
Sense to me, because I believe this is her first time ever even being in LA, and for her to go and do this on her own from LA and to cross the border of Mexico on her own with supposedly no phone, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, and it feels like someone else is involved or controlling her or doing something. And I can't discount the fact that, just because she was allegedly seen alone, that doesn't necessarily mean, just because there's so much exposure on this case, it doesn't mean that she's necessarily alone and someone's just doing this from a distance, knowing that they don't want to be exposed.
So Sarah, this sounds like a territory where you can really help as the family's representative. I mean, look, a family gets thrust into something. This is territory they never ever imagined they'd be in. They don't know this landscape, but you do. So what are the next steps, Sarah, to try to figure out why is she in Mexico? Where might she be? And is there someone?
I'm just wondering if the father knew this was going on. Because it's just, in my opinion, it's just really weird. And he may have had mental health issues too. I don't know. But I don't want to sound like I'm being, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like a standard bearer here. But I believe he was of Japanese descent. So that's just unlike those types of, ethnic groups there. I mean, unaliving yourself is just not a natural process in that culture. So it's just maybe he had some mental health issues himself, or maybe he knew that she just decided to take off. I don't know. It just sounds strange how he would do that.
Someone else involved?
Well, remember, Ashley, that this snapshot surveillance video is from November 12th. So there's still several weeks that have gone by since then. So our hope is that she is obviously still safe. And I'm now deploying a team in Mexico to continue the search down there. So for us and the family, this is not at all over. The fact that the LAPD.
You would think that after all of this stuff coming out, like she would have just gotten in touch with somebody. She obviously doesn't want to be. It's just, I mean, how long has it been? 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks, probably now, 4.5 weeks, and all the stuff. That's gone on. You would think that she would have contacted them, or at least said, "I'm okay." Let me. Obviously, she wants to be away from them because, maybe they told him kind of on the side that they have information that she just, literally took off and decided she wanted to live a different life. But who knows? I have no idea.
PD is deeming it to be voluntary doesn't make it any lesser of a disappearance and a missing person case to this family. So we're going to be focusing. I'm flying back to Los Angeles. I'm in New York now, but we're going to be focusing on putting a team together in Mexico and continuing.
See, I think what's going on is Mino Dino sells fans, like oscillating fans, on an OnlyFans channel. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
The search there and trying to locate her. And if the LAPD, as they say, this is voluntary, she doesn't want to be with the family, or she did this on her own, we still need to locate her and confirm that.
No, you don't. You don't need to do that. If she doesn't want you to find her, then you don't have that. I mean, yes, it would be nice for her to phone somebody and say, yes, I'm okay. But if she doesn't want you to find her, that's not okay. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Because to us, there's a lot that doesn't add up. There was an ex-boyfriend that she'd planned this trip with. She flew with this ex-boyfriend. Did anybody talk to flight attendants to see if there was any interaction on this flight between her and this ex-boyfriend? I mean, there's a lot of questions and there's no answers.
Yeah, and I also just
Sydney, I want go ahead.
No, I just want to clarify too that I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but LAPD also has not released any footage to the family at all. They're basically just determining that this is my sister. But they have.
What are you drinking, Dandy? Your birthday. Happy freaking birthday. I wish I had like a song or I don't know. But happy birthday. Dandy offers stands. You guys are Oh, you guys are awesome. Oh,
haven't they haven't released any footage to us to confirm that this is my sister that they're claiming to cross the border, and that's
why would they lie? I mean,
something that I really need everyone to understand is that none of us have
I
seen
understand.
this at all to confirm. Like, okay, like you would think that they would go to an immediate, like, you know, either myself or my mom or someone to be like, hey, is this Hannah? Is this her? No, they automatically went straight to determining that that was her. So we don't even know if
Can
this
I
is
ask
my
you,
sister.
Sydney? Can I ask you if she does? I know she doesn't have her phone, but if she has some access to the internet or social media, and she happens to see this interview, do you have a message for your sister?
Absolutely. I want her to know that she is loved and she is supported in every way, shape, or form. And no matter what she's going through right now, she needs to know that she has a place to come home to. And I can't stress it enough. Like, she is still light, like in our lives, and she's just such an amazing and beautiful woman. And she's my baby girl, you know, she's my baby sister. And you know, I really hope that if she does see this, like, just let us know, give us a message or something to let us know.
I just think it's kind of strange, but I think that my A Mustang 1965. Good to see you, Lady Monet's here. Good to see you, Lady Monet. Colorado IPAs. Oh, nice. Are you mixing it with anything? Yeah, me too. I think unfortunately, I think people just they just have had enough with their life. They just want I mean, it's sad. It's sad that family has to go through this. It's not easy for family to, find out that their sister or their daughter or their mother is or whatever is just running away from things. But um, it's yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's rare, but the cops aren't going to tell them where she is if she doesn't want to be found. It's just my opinion. All right, so let's hold on. Let's get on this. We'll play one more, and then we'll move on to the bizarre case in Pennsylvania. There. Hold on a second here. Let me play this one here. Right here. Okay, so this is the one here that's a little strange. This was one day ago. This is missing Hawaii woman may have been victim in a green card marriage scheme or scam. And this is possible too. Hannah Kobayashi, a Maui resident whose family reported her missing in Los Angeles last month, may have secretly married an Argentinian man for money, and photos of a sham wedding have been circulating online. So, like I said, this is just, again, it just keeps going on and on and on and on. But this sounds pretty legit here too. I mean, maybe she's just embarrassed that she fell for this, and she
Crazy new twist in the voluntary missing person mystery.
got scammed like this, and she's desolate. I don't know.
An FBI probe is claiming that missing Maui woman Hannah Kobayashi was caught up in a green card fake marriage scam. News Nation's Mills Hayes joins us with more on this one. Mills, you and I were talking about this one before we went live this morning. This keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Hello, Heather E. Good to see you. Lady Monet came in. Nestor Olivo's here. Jocelyn is here. It's always good to see landing their way home here. Who else came in? But this is this new. I don't know if this is new. This was done a day ago.
Weirder. What are police saying about these new allegations?
Yeah, Marky, we just keep learning more every day. Now, Hannah Kobayashi's family says that the search for the 31-year-old missing Hawaii woman is as urgent as ever. She has been the center of a massive search since she vanished in LA last month, and her family and Los Angeles police have been at odds, especially since police came out Monday and said that they have footage of Hannah crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in San Diego. Police say that Hannah left voluntarily, but the family is pushing back on those claims, saying that they found out about that video just hours before the public did.
They're desperate for answers. They want to know that Hannah's safe. This is not like her to do this. So they're just overwhelmed and in shock and concerned. LAPD's done. We now have to be the LAPD here, which is why I came in with my team. We are going to have to go to Mexico.
This all started back on November 8th. Kobayashi was headed from Hawaii to
All right, so I do want to do this here. Hold on a second, because I actually spent some time looking this shit up. Thank you, Gal, for that. Hold on a second. So I pulled up some statistics on this. I think this is from. I actually downloaded this. This is from the FBI, I think, or NCIC, missing person file case. You can download this too, but this is, I believe it is 2023 missing and unidentified person table. This is like the statistics that they go by here. This missing persons and then identified missing or people. And then they go through all of this missing person file case implemented in 1975. They keep records of this stuff here. And if you go through this, it's kind of strange because, when I first started getting involved in the true crime community, it's one of those things where if you watch true crime cases and stuff like that, people go missing all the time, but you just wonder, why police, especially when it comes to adults, will tell people people can go missing all the time, have to be found. It's like you want to wait 24 hours, and usually people come. So I guess what I'm saying is why that they don't, drop everything and start looking for these people. But if you look at these statistics, man, it's pretty. It's pretty good for the fact that most people that go missing either voluntarily or are found within the first 24 hours. And these are some of the statistics here. Am I sharing this actually? Yes, I think I am. Okay, so where am I? Right here. So this is the age groups, juvenile, endangered. They'll have, this table here, females, seems like, I don't want to read through this whole thing, but if you look through this stuff here, it's, most adults that go missing are found or pretty much voluntarily missing. And it happens a lot more than people think it does. I think it's like 1% of people that go missing, adults that go missing, are not found. And I got, when I do the Mara Murray case, I put this pretty high, like it's 30%. I think it's possible that 30% of me says that she went missing on her own. All right, so let's go back to this here. Hold on, I'll play this here. I can probably link that in the chat at some point or in the description maybe later. But if you look through that, it's pretty. All right, let's see. Here we go. Back to this.
to New York, but missed her connecting flight.
It's like 98%. 98% of missing adults are usually either found within the first 24 hours, 48 hours, or they went missing on their own.
In Los Angeles. She spent a few days in LA, her family saying they received bizarre texts from her like, I got hacked, stripped of my identity, I can't fly. Family says Hannah's phone has been off since November 11th, which was also the day that her family reported her missing. Then one day later, on November 12th, Hannah was seen on video crossing into Mexico around noon by herself and with luggage. The story takes an even worse turn. Family flew out to California to search for her, and Hannah's father, Ryan Kobayashi, died by suicide on November 24th after days of searching.
Yes, Lighting the Way Home. PJ is amazing. She's an amazing person. She does very, very. ACJK, how are you? Good to see you. What was I saying? PJ's awesome. She's got a great channel. Like I said, I try to make everybody's channel as much as I possibly can on their lives. Unfortunately, I work nights, so it's hard to make everybody's lives. But that's why I give people wrenches here in the chat. If they have channels or if they know people who have channels, feel free to post them in the chats. Southern Gal is amazing. Southern Gal is an amazing person. Great channel. Absolutely great channel. Her and Arctic True Fox, great channels.
For his daughter.
And I keep forgetting Mind of Monsters. Mind of Monsters is absolutely amazing.
Marky.
I'm still caught up on this alleged green card marriage scam. What more do you know there? What evidence do they have?
Well, the FBI is now involved with the case. Los Angeles Magazine, citing unnamed sources, says that Kobayashi may have been involved in a secret marriage plot for money. The magazine characterized the marriage as an immigration scheme where Hannah was tricked out of the money that she was supposed to receive. The Argentinian man involved, Alan Kakase, was on the flight from Maui to LAX on November 8th, and so was Kobayashi's.
See, I had heard that. Not yet. I'm gonna go into that very shortly here, Jocelyn. Just sad freaking news on that case. But I had heard that she broke up with her Hannah broke up with her boyfriend right before this trip to New York City, and they were going to cancel. They were going to cancel the trip, but he couldn't. Hey, thank you, Southern Gal. Arctic True Fox is awesome. He does amazing work on the missing. He's just amazing. But anyways, back to the Hannah thing. So they decided they couldn't get the money back, so they decided to go anyways. So I think there's something to that. I think there's something to the fact that they went anyways, and something might have changed. In her mind anyways. I don't know, something weird about that.
Ex-boyfriend.
We know as much as you do at this point. What happened was on November 15, Facebook used.
Because law enforcement said she literally intentionally missed her flight to New York. So anyone near the drones in Jersey? No, we had a sinkhole happen from flooding through roadblock. Yeah, it's tough. That sucks.
User sent what looked like a Hawaiian beach wedding photo of Hannah with another man with leis around their necks wearing white. And they said that they learned off of Reddit that there was this sham marriage for money and that this is the wedding picture that's being circulated on Reddit. Of course, that came as a shock to Hannah's sister.
Personally, a big Reddit fan, but would not want to be receiving that info online from Reddit about my family member. And the family is asking the public in the U.S. and Mexico to be on the lookout for Hannah and not dismiss this case because police say that Hannah left voluntarily. There's also been allegations against the family with the GoFundMe, which has reached nearly $50,000. Many people saying that it's a scam. The family attorney says that that's not true. And if anyone feels uncomfortable with the money that they sent, they can get it back. Marky?
Yeah, something smells real.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I heard that they went anyways because that sounds. Usually if you book a flight, you have a certain amount of time before you can actually get your money back. So they probably decided to go anyways. But she might have had something else. I don't know. It's just weird. She might have had something else planned since that whole thing happened where she broke up with the boyfriend. But I did post this in the chat. This is what am I doing here? Right here. The stats on the unidentified person statistics, missing person and stuff. So yeah, the baby Jessica thing. I remember that too. All right, we'll finish this up and then we'll go on to Pennsylvania.
Really fishy here. I'm just praying that the family, law enforcement, gets some sort of correspondence from her. this weekend. Mills, thank you so much for that latest update. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I don't think they're going to. I think she's basically. Here's the one I wanted to play here. This. Hold on a second.
Dogged bounty hunter. Thanks for staying with us. So police say that she's not missing per se. She might have done this on her own. She didn't seem like she's been harmed in any way. How does that search differ from the typical fugitive you hunt down?
Well, it doesn't. The only thing is that, I went into Mexico once after Andrew Stewart Luster.
Yeah, I agree with that, Big Fish. I think she just decided to get out. I mean, she just. I don't think the family's at fault at all. They really. I mean, there's always one nutcase, I think, but I think for the family, they just thought that she met with foul play and she was missing, so they did whatever they had to do to find her. But I agree with that. I think she just bounced on him. She just took off. She just didn't want to be. It's just so weird. It's bizarre, but it happens a lot.
And was arrested, and I had to break out of jail and get back to America.
You hear about it all the time. I hear about cases 40, 30, 40, 50 years. People go missing. They have this huge investigation. They look for them, and I've heard of cases where they've actually pronounced the person dead, and come to find out, they show up 40, 50 years later. It's weird, but it does happen, and it happens a lot more than people think.
So I will not. I promised the Mexican government I would not go in there, looking for anything. So, but my daughter Cecily, we knew Hannah. She spent the night at my house.
Apparently, Dog knew her through his daughter. We played that last week, so that's why he's interested in this case here, because he's been out looking into the Sebastian Rogers case, but now he's involved in this case here too a little bit, I think.
Cecily's good friend 6-7 years ago, a couple times, and then my other daughter, baby Lisa, is she is an incredible seek and finder. So what they both found out was that Hannah got married in Maui before she ever disappeared. She was legally married. They have pictures of them in Maui, the husband and her. And so she might have left on her own free will. She might have, married this guy. We don't know what nationality he is, but they did get legally married in Maui, Hawaii.
And does the family know who this is? Is the family aware of this fact?
Well, yes, I think they do, because I think it came off on someone's social media, the pictures.
The more I think about this case, that somebody's not telling the truth. This case is weird.
And all that. And what I saw, it said, somebody in the family said, don't let this get out there. And it's, we respect, I was in Hawaii 26 years.
Yeah.
And we respect all Hawaiians. I still do. But when this child, she's still to me a child, is missing.
I have a feeling that one of the family members was aiding in this. That's just my opinion. I don't know how I've come to that kind of idea, but I think somebody, whether it's the aunt or the sister or somebody in the family, may have been aiding her in this whole thing to kind of get this whole thing done. I have no evidence for that, so I don't know, but it seems like she must have had some sort of help with just ditching everybody.
Like that. We got to find her, because the dad was so distraught, I think, that he couldn't find him. He took his own life. And I was wondering if there was some, did the dad do that? Was there something? And the family, there's
Are you okay, Miranda? I'm so happy I'm putting you to sleep.
There's cameras showing the dad goes to this parking structure. No one was behind.
I will say one thing about the dad. From the very get-go of this whole thing, he didn't look right. He looked like he hadn't slept in days and days. It looked like he was just running on adrenaline, like that whole adrenaline rush and he might have just had enough. I mean, it might have been just too much for him. But inside the Japanese culture, that's just not, I don't know. I don't want to, annihilate a whole culture, but usually that's not acceptable.
Him. No one pushed him. And the family has said, they're sorry that the day like. And is Japanese, and even though we're all created the same, or we're all equal, we're all not the same. And Japanese have a complete different culture than we do, I guess, in America. I don't know why he would just he would jump off and kill himself.
It's hard to explain why people do this. Sometimes they come out of nowhere. You might think you know somebody. So I totally hear you. Dog, before I let you go, I have to ask you real quick. If the police are saying there's no foul play.
This is a nice picture. Look at all this alcohol. Holy shit.
And the family suggesting otherwise, you'd have to say either Hannah's lying in her text or the police are getting it wrong. What do you think it is? Real quick, 30 seconds.
Well, the police department, I know a lot of cops in LA. Well, they are good. Okay. And I'm not a cop lover because, some of them are bad, but not everywhere. I mean, everywhere they are. But the cops in LA, no matter what people say about
Yeah, I remember, I think I got home, and this is when everybody was looking for her. And they came on early on in the morning and said that he was found unalived. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. It was just so depressing. I agree with that. But like I said, it's mental health issues are no laughing matter, man. It's prevalent in society, no doubt.
What they are good at investigating. And they don't, it's not they don't care. They know, I bet they know she got married. I'll bet they all know that. I bet they know she got married and they're in it. They've got so much to do.
That's what I'm saying. I think somebody knew about this whole thing, and I mean that's just my opinion. I think somebody knew what was going on, and somebody was kind of like leading them off course, so to speak. That's just my opinion. It might not be. I don't know, but seems like she might have had some help doing this. Seemingly not the victim of an abduction. Yeah, she wasn't trafficked. That's for sure.
They can't look for a missing person.
I will just say, I think for everybody's sake, we need some answers. We need some answers one way or another. Dog Bounty Hunter, thanks for coming on.
I'll tell you one thing, you're not going to get any from her. That's for sure. All right, so let's get out of here. I want to go to this case here because this is just a sad freaking, hold on a second. I don't know if anybody's known about this. I just say all the words. Undeaded. Yeah, it's just, I've got my ex. Yeah, did she get life? Did you know? I know that the Black Swan only got like 25 years. 2,500 a week for the reality channel shows. Yeah, that's it. All right, so let's go to this here. Hold on, let me share this here. This poor lady, it's just so sad. I've been following this case too. So this happened this week to this poor lady. She was out looking for her cat. Authorities have found the body of 64-year-old Elizabeth Pollard, the Pennsylvania woman who fell into a sinkhole while looking for her cat. I think it was in Unity Parish or something like that. Unity. So we'll play a few of these here, and I might play some of the press conference. But let's go to this here. She was out looking for a cat. She, I think she was babysitting at the time too. But she went looking for a cat, and she fell into a sinkhole, and they were looking for her for days and days and days, and didn't end well.
Breaking news out of Pennsylvania on the search for 64-year-old Elizabeth Pollard, who fell into a sinkhole while looking for her cat. Our affiliate KDKA has been following the search all week long. Let's listen into their coverage from just moments ago.
We are following breaking news this noon. After days of searching, the body of a woman who fell into a Westmoreland County sinkhole has been found. KDKA's Krista Rose has been following the search for 64-year-old.
Yeah, I think the granddaughter was found in the car. She was in the car for like 8 hours, but they found her in the car, waiting in the car. She was just sitting there waiting, and I'm glad she didn't take her with her. But it just sucks. I've been following. I was hoping they'd find her alive, but when you fall into a mine shaft or something like that, you're pretty much done for. I mean, it just sucks.
Elizabeth Pollard, and is live this noon in Unity Township. Chris.
And in that part of the country, those things are everywhere.
John, good afternoon. Yes, just about an hour ago, officials here in Unity Township say that they have found the remains of Elizabeth Pollard, the 64-year-old who went missing around 5 p.m. on Monday. She fell through a sinkhole some 30 feet down into an old abandoned mine, and the search for her has just been ongoing. It has been days and days. Hundreds of people have been out here in Unity Township searching to find her. And then around 11 a.m. this morning, that is when officials say she was officially found. Now, this scene here has turned into essentially.
Plus, it's been like usually when these things happen, the nature really puts its spell on people, right? It's been the coldest spell all year. And of course, these poor people and these rescuers and stuff, they've been out here in these elements. I mean, it's been freaking cold. If you've been east of the Rockies, it's been probably the coldest week all year.
Your crime scene. State police say there is no reason to believe that there is a crime.
With snow and ice, and I mean, it's just, of course, it just sucks.
But anytime they find the remains of anyone, they basically
did they find the cat?
What the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania tells them to do, which is secure the scene.
I don't know if they found the cat or not. No word on the cat. It's like when they talk about the dolphins getting caught in the tuna nets. Nobody cares for the tuna,
Investigate, and of course they are going to be having a press conference.
Everybody was holding out hope for this, but I think it was like a 30-foot drop. Is that what it
later today? The family of Pollard's just arrived here on scene. They have not spoken to media, but we do know that her body was found, and obviously this is while it's sad news, it is a relief, I'm sure, to the family and to the surrounding community. But now the work begins to determine just what happened, just how she fell. And now after the scene is clear, the Bureau of Mines will be going in to investigate this old mine that's been abandoned since the early 1950s. Of course, we're going to have more on this story throughout the day coming to you. But for now, reporting live in Unity Township, Westmoreland County, Krista Rose, KDKA TV News. Back to you in the studio, John.
Our affiliate Sarah in Pittsburgh covering just the tragic ending to the story we've been following all week long. A 64-year-old grandmother went missing earlier this week. Crews.
I do want to thank everybody for coming in. I really appreciate all the support. The cat was probably okay. They can land a long way down. Yeah, cats have 9 lives. But what if it was already on its 9th life? Have our own opinions, sir. Yeah. All right, so let's hold on a second. I want to play a little.
To say she fell into a sinkhole while looking for her cat, and her body was found today. And it was really near some abandoned coal mines that this sinkhole happened, and search crews spent nearly 2 full days digging through that abandoned coal mine looking for Elizabeth Pollard. Again, her body located.
I do want to play a little of the press conference. Hold Hold on a second. Let me stop sharing this here. We'll go over that too in a couple of seconds here. That's, I guess, the moral to the story. If your cat's missing, don't go looking for it in mine shafts. Let's go here. This one. All right. All right. So this is a little of a press conference. This is when they found her. This was done 4 days. They were searching for her for 4 days. Somehow I felt like it was longer than that. All right. So here we go.
Found today, and we're going to go into the logistics and all the efforts that we once had Elizabeth Pollard, and we wanted to talk about the fact that she was found today, and we're going to go into the logistics and all the efforts that took place. Before we get into all of those things, I'd like to introduce the people that
we love you too, Miranda. I hope you're well. I know Miranda's been fairly sick lately, but we hope you're doing better. I forbid you now for having sepsis, so no more of that. They were searching for a long time. Yeah, I thought it was 5 days. It seemed like 5 days anyways. You're leaving, Paula? If you're leaving, Paula, I hope you have a good day, good night, good weekend. Paula's awesome. She has a great channel too. You can throw that in here too, Paula, if it's Henry. She's got a great channel too. Great person. We love Paula here. Okay, good. I'm glad you're not leaving. All right, I'll just shut up then.
you see in front of you that have been a part of the efforts. Basically,
he just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking.
Since the inception of when she first disappeared. To my right, we have the incident commander for this week's event, Scott Graham. And continuing to the right, we have the chief in charge of operations, John Batcha, and our Unity Township supervisor, Michael Barto. And immediately to my left, we have the site commander for the Pennsylvania State Police and my supervisor, Sergeant Heather Clem.
I mean, they had a lot of people out looking for this woman. You'll see.
To her left, we have the.
I think this was in Amish country too. Not sure.
Troop A commander for our entire area. That's Captain David Sora. To his left, we have the director of PEMA, Randy Padfield, and last but certainly not least, the director of.
One thing I've learned in my life that if you're traveling through Pennsylvania, you've got to get gas before you get to Amish country, because if you run out of gas in Amish country, you're fucked. You're nothing. Sorry for the French, but they don't have gas. There's no such thing as gas there. So, in my opinion, probably get gas before you get into Pennsylvania, fill up, or you're going to be in trouble.
Our public safety for our region, Roland Mertz.
And they're always doing some sort of stupid construction on the highways in Pennsylvania. It's just annoying. Like they're just always doing something for hundreds of miles. They're doing construction. If I could just evade Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is probably the worst state to drive through, period.
To finish up with some more logistical things, I want to talk a little bit about the amount of departments that were here and some of the partnerships we had. This was obviously a very unified command that we had, and it pooled resources from, basically all over southwestern Pennsylvania. We had 25 fire departments that were here, Westmoreland Technical Rescue, Westmoreland Department of Public Safety, Unity Township Road Crews. We had 2 emergency services agencies, PA Task Force 1, Command Post 600. Obviously, we had all of the Pennsylvania State Police resources, including all of our technical equipment, our ancillary services that we have within our department. And I'm going to mention these people last, but they're definitely not least. The Ligonier construction crew. Those people worked pretty impressive, and they were.
I know one thing: they don't have gas. That's for sure. They have no gas. I want to join the Amish Mafia. I thought you were part of the Amish Mafia, buddy.
absolutely amazing. And they were a huge part of the efforts that took place. And sometimes you don't think of people that aren't in emergency services.
Hello. I don't know what's going on.
Priceless. I don't know how else to say it. There were so many people also that reached out and either donated food, donated time, and I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to identify those individuals. And I have to start off with Mondays. The family that owns and runs that establishment, they were so kind with their time, with their resources, with everything they had going on, empathetic to the family, working through all of the hurdles and never batting an eye when they were asked to do something for it.
They do make good furniture. I've done a lot of business with the Amish over the years, especially in Pennsylvania. Yes, the mob is dead. We have Mennonites that pass through here about once a year. Yep. That's a classic.
For us, I can't thank them enough. You really felt a sense of community when you were at that establishment, and they epitomize what it means to be a Southwestern human being. And I really can't, and I'm sure that the sentiments are echoed amongst all of the people that you see in front of you. They are probably some of the salt of the earth people that make up our community. Also helping and assisting us with all of the food items we received from Firehouse Subs, Chick-fil-A, Sharky's, which is a restaurant down the street, Speedway, which is a gas station that makes really good food. I was surprised for a gas station, and they stepped up to the plate. We're delivering food constantly. McDonald's, Gianelli's too, and Walmart. Our local Walmarts always step up to the plate too.
They were out there for 4 days and they had that much food. Really?
To help us whenever we're in a time of crisis in our area. So with that being said, just to give you a little bit of the logistics of the recovery, during the course of the removal of dirt and sifting through things, we did find Elizabeth. We found her approximately 30 feet below the surface of.
It's Mother of Dragons. How you doing, Mother of Dragons? Good to see you. Always good to see Mother of Dragons in here. Awesome channel. Mother of Dragons is awesome. It's always good to see you. I don't know why they had that much food for 4 days, but apparently they needed it. But they did have a lot of when I was in the furniture industry, we did a lot of business with the Amish, especially for dining room sets.
Of where the mine would have sat. We found her at about 11:05. She was about 12 feet southwest of where the original sinkhole occurred. And if you were able to see some of the original video footage and the explanations we did, as the
this is just so sad. This is awful. She just went out looking for a cat, and she ended up basically falling into a mine shaft or a sinkhole. That's I'm surprised they even found her.
Mine starts to deteriorate and a sinkhole starts to form. The best way I was able to come up, or we were able to come up to describe it, was it sort of creates like the appearance of what like a Hershey kiss would look like. And
yeah, it's always good to see you, Mother of Dragons. You don't have a wrench. I'll try to find your channel and post it in here. It's awesome. Mother of Dragons is awesome. Awesome channel. What the hell am I doing? Here we go.
The best we can figure out right now, because obviously we don't have the autopsy back. We don't have all of the different things that go along with our investigation. When she fell through the shaft, and she landed and struck that mound of, like we'll call it like Hershey Kiss. It appears that she rolled or moved that 12 feet or so where our initial spot was, which
Horrible. Oh,
was some of the impotence that caused difficulty for us to find her, because we know she was going to probably hit the top of that, and then where she went from there was going to be the difficulty of
hello, JCN. How are you? Good to see you. JCN's in here. She has an awesome, thank you, Miranda. She has an awesome channel too. We need to get JCN to 1,000 subscribers. So, awesome channel. I was on there the other day. She's great. Awesome work. Oh, you're welcome. I have no problem with promoting other sites, other channels. There's a lot of great creators out there. Southern Gal is one of them. Southern Gal is amazing. I'm fortunate enough to make a couple of Steve's lives. True Crime Web is awesome. He does great work. Mother of Dragons is great. PJ's in here. PJ is amazing. She's great channel. I think Unnecessary Love has a channel too, so he's great too. Everybody, feel free to post your channels in here. Any way we can get the word out. I know a lot of people do a lot of great work on the missing. So any way we can get that promoted, that'd be great. Who else in here? Paula's got a great channel too. All right, I'll stop talking now.
how the gravity affected her location. So with that being said, the overall sentiment amongst the group, I could tell you from sitting in the rooms and talking to people in the community, and my personal feeling is that
Yeah, they do. They're very good craftsmen. Very, very good craftsmen.
I couldn't have been more happy for the family that we were able to find her, because that was the only thing that they were concerned with after yesterday, was if they can have her so that they can do what's right when it comes to a memorialized service.
What the hell would I do in here without Southern Gal? Look at her. She's posting all these channels. Thank you, Southern Gal. Yes, you should have a channel, Heather Brown. Yeah, it had to be in a brutal. Thanks, buddy.
Service and having a viewing and all the things that everyone should deserve to have, if that's what your faith believes. And they wanted that, and we worked around the clock and I'll be honest with you, some of the concerns, they were getting dashed a little bit, but the hard work from the people that ran the show up here, they were incredible, and I can't thank them enough. On behalf of the family, we grieve for you, and our heart aches for what you're having to go through, and for the messages that we've had to deliver to you, and sitting down and going to your home and sitting.
So that's unfortunate. They didn't get to her in time. It's obviously they weren't going to. I knew that wasn't going to end well, but you always want to have hope. It's just. Thank you, Miranda, again for that. I'm not tech savvy enough to have a channel. Why not? Of course you are. Look, this is not that hard to do. If I can do it, anybody can do it. What is it? There's a comment. Oops, sorry. Abandoned mine may not be stored up to withstand weight. Yes, exactly. It's basically not ground at all. It's just kind of, it's dug ground. It's not just like if you're walking over some of the European countries. There's certain places you can't walk because of mines. All right, from all the wars in the past, they have places you can't go because they might be explosives. All right, so let's go to this idiot. This is just another one of those cases where, it just keeps getting more bizarre and more bizarre and more bizarre. So this is the case of this judge here. And this is going to be one of these. Oh, this is so weird. This guy is so weird. So this is the. We went over this a little bit again last week here, but this is new information on this Kentucky judge, and this is going to be a little explicit, so I apologize for this, but this is just awful. This is just terrible. I'll kind of let the caption speak for itself. The former Kentucky sheriff was indicted last week in the slaying of judge who was pew-pewed down in his courthouse chambers 2 months ago, shocking a tiny Appalachian community. And this is coming from some of the evidence coming out here about Judge Kevin Mullins and some of the victims. So let's go here with this.
The United Healthcare CEO was gunned down on the streets of New York. The shooting that took our breath away was the killing of Judge Kevin Mullins right there in his own chambers. We know who fired those shots.
No, let's see here. She was, I think, the granddaughter was in the car for 8 hours, I think. PJ is awesome. Yep, Lighting the Way Home is fantastic.
It was on video right there. That was Sean Mickey Steins right there with the gun. He was the sheriff at that time of their rural.
Apparently, this guy here, this judge, was not a very good guy.
Kentucky County. And he was also a close friend of the judge. And he's not a sheriff anymore. He's an inmate waiting for trial. But just like the CEO murder, the motive in the Judge Mullins case is a mystery, which means that the two men's long shared history has been under the microscope. And tonight, a gut punch of an exclusive to tell you about. It turns out there are recordings.
Yeah, that's the good news, that she let the granddaughter wait in the car. I'm expecting she wasn't, expecting to be gone long from the car, but no, that's the good news, that the granddaughter wasn't part of this.
About the dead judge that tie him to some very dirty business in that county. A sex for favors scandal that sent a former deputy to jail.
Again, this will be a little bit disturbing here, but it's just, this guy's a little loony here.
And got the sheriff, who's now facing murder, sued in federal court. News Nation investigative producer Allison Weiner uncovered these recordings, and she joins me live now. You're such a great producer. I mean, we send you out to dig this stuff up, and then I have to have you on television to report it. What kind of a recording are we talking about, Allison?
Well, these are recordings from the criminal investigation into Deputy Fields, the guy that went to prison for the sex for favor scandal. And Deputy Fields was convicted of rape 3, of sodomy, and also a perjury. So the recordings are from his victim. And she subsequently has filed the civil rights lawsuit in federal court. The victim is Sabrina Atkins, and she was interviewed by police about what had happened to her when she was an inmate in Fletcher County in Whitesburg. And that's where Sheriff Stein was working, and also where Ben Fields was working. And these recordings.
See, the thing is that, a lot of channels do great work that a lot of people don't see. Southern Gal does a lot of great work on, cases that don't get covered a lot. We're going to be going, that's why I try to do at least one missing person case of the week. But some of these cases, and it's working because some of these cases are starting to get solved. There's a lot of cases that are getting solved because there's new what do they call those, new grants that are being received. Some of these law enforcement agencies that are getting some of these cases that have DNA that have been sitting and waiting to get, it costs a lot of money to do these things. But some of these grants are starting to work out, and they're doing a lot of this familiar DNA, and they're cracking some of these cases. There's been so many, at least 3 or 4 cases a week that are getting solved. So that's good news.
Recordings, I was listening to them and I just sort of stopped and was like, I'm beginning to see that Sheriff Stein's life was coming apart, like sort of one thing, one block at a time. And this was not.
Are you leaving, Mustang? It's good to see you. I hope you have a good night, Mustang 1965. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for coming in.
A good thing that I was listening to. And you want to, let's take a listen to it and then we can talk about it.
He does have some videotapes.
So this is what she got this from these recordings here, and it's just so strange that this guy's got all his videotapes in his chambers. This is so weird.
Stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, just him having sex with girls for to be able to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
You saw the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I've seen Judge Long having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know. Because I don't know a lot of people from over.
Where was it at?
In his office, in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge's chambers? And this was Judge who?
Mullins.
Allison,
Watch his face. Oh, this is a classic here. Yeah.
Allison,
It's funny.
wow, that's pretty clear. That's her saying Judge Mullins was having sex with these people in his chambers, just like the other deputy. Here's the question I have, because it seemed to me that it became an open secret among female inmates.
No, here's the thing, right? Like, people are tired of it. It's, you look at some of these cases going on, the judge, who's gonna mess with a judge? The Alex Murdaugh case, some of these people are just not, JP, yeah, have a good night, JP. Thanks for coming in. There's his channel there. I should give him a wrench. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. But people are not, people are not settling for this stuff here. This guy here, some people will look at as a hero at the end of this stuff here, but people taking matters into their own hands. You hear about it all the time. You hear about some of these people who get, they've arrested on these charges, and then they spend like 2 months in jail, and then they get out. If this guy's actually, if this judge, whatever, it's just people. It's going on all over the place too. It's not just here.
That you can sleep your way out of jail because these men and these higher ups, not the ones necessarily on the screen, this is an allegation only, will have sex for these release favors.
That's correct. And by the way, the Sheriff Stein denied during his deposition, which was a couple of days before the murder, that he had he had any idea that any of this was going on. But the fact is that the plaintiff in the lawsuit, again, Sabrina Atkins, said that she had heard rumors and that you could exchange sex for not having to wear your ankle bracelet. She didn't say that specifically, but for some favors. And that's exactly what ended up happening, because
I'm sure this happens a lot more than people think it does.
she couldn't afford to pay for the ankle bracelet. You have to pay for the ankle bracelet weekly. And those are the allegations in the civil lawsuit, that Sheriff Stein should have known or knew about what was happening with Ben Fields. And Sheriff Stein is the big name in that lawsuit. It's Sheriff Stein and unknown superiors and Ben Fields. So he was facing some heavy damages and the loss of his entire career based on this civil rights lawsuit. And frankly, the plaintiff's lawyers told me, Ned Pillersdorf has told me several times, because it's like they were running a brothel out of that courtroom.
And they were videoing it. That's the weird part, because, you know, people are just dumb. They're just really dumb. They were videoing it.
Unbelievable. Well, I feel like it's just the tip of the iceberg, because there's still a lot more to connect Steins allegedly murdering the judge based on what the judge maybe would have said to bring Steins more into this picture. So you're invited back, anytime, just knock on the door and you're on. Allison Weiner, great. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, he's a judge, right? Like, if anybody that would know, probably a bad idea to videotape it, right? Like, some people are just really dumb, but good news, because he literally got shot for it. But the video, they must have the tapes at some point. Anyways, that's going to come all out. I mean, it's this case just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. All right, so let's go to the missing. I'm actually going to try to do two of these tonight, kind of. But we're going to go over this case here. I'm pretty sure everybody's done this case here too. This was done a few hours ago, actually. And this ties right in line with all of the mental health issues stuff, postpartum depression here. But this is the case of, hold on a second, let me share this here. Zoe Penrod, family desperate to find the missing California mom who vanished in the midst of, they're saying postpartum psychosis here. And hold on one second. Before I share this here, hold on a second. I want to do this here. So, all right. So this is the case of Zoe Penrod here. This happened, I think, last year, actually, on the afternoon of the 1st of the 9th, January 9th, 2024. The Humboldt County Sheriff's Office ongoing investigation, missing person case of Myers Flat resident Zoe Penrod. A deputy was able to positively identify video of Zoe and a surveillance footage obtained from a Myers Flat business. This footage showed Zoe wearing a light-colored housecoat, bathrobe, walking northbound along the edge of the highway just before 8:30. We'll try to dissect this a little bit too with a little map here. After initially searching of that area in the evening, in the night hours 1:09 through 1:10, so about a day and a half, ground search of this area continuing north on Highway 254. This effort did not result in locating Zoe, obviously, or any clues that may help direct the search. Let's see here. Continuing search efforts will be based on efforts that are completed today. This was back then. A still image from the surveillance footage has been included below in hopes that the updated image with the clothing Zoe was wearing. So here's this image here of her. Anyone with information should contact the sheriff's office regarding Zoe's possible whereabouts. Humboldt County Sheriff's Office. So let me kind of do this here. Copy this. All right, so let's go to the video. He's not the worst, but he's close. All right, so let's do this here. Stop sharing this. We'll go back to that in a second. Okay, so here we go.
Home in Northern California, confused and paranoid in the midst of a mental health crisis.
The then 39-year-old
It almost seems like yesterday this woman went missing. It's just, I can't believe it's already been a year.
new mom leaving behind a fiance and a baby boy, dreams of a future. Her fiance, David, desperately looking for her now while trying to raise their son alone.
December 31st, 2023. It was supposed to be the brink of a new year and new possibilities, with a new baby boy and a wedding planned for May. But on that New Year's Eve morning, Zoe Penrod walked out of her home in Myers Flat, California, and out of her life as she knew it. She hasn't been seen since.
She had, I don't even know. It's hard to wrap into words all that she was for me.
The weeks leading up to that New Year's Eve morning were rocky. Zoe was acting erratically and was briefly hospitalized, diagnosed with postpartum psychosis.
She wasn't making any sense whatsoever. She just, like I said, she was talking about power marbles, and she was convinced that everybody, that there was people listening in on all their conversations.
Zoe had endured a 76-hour labor when she gave.
Who's leaving us? Have a good night, FARQ. Good to see you. Did she leave already? I hope you have a good night, FARQ. It's always good to see you here. FARQ is an amazing person. I would love seeing her here all the time, for sure. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Has anybody heard about this case?
Birth to her son Daniel in July of last
Look at
year.
that, that's so
She
cute.
and her fiance David were so happy with their new son and planned to marry May 4th of this year.
Stop it.
I was gonna be like, see what happens when you get all the rocks on the river bar in one day.
But within 5 months of Daniel's birth, Zoe stopped breastfeeding and began acting erratically, getting into a dust-up with police at a local casino and running out onto a highway overpass to avoid help from family and friends. Zoe was checked into a hospital in Garberville, where she was diagnosed with postpartum.
So she was patient needs psychiatric hold for evaluation. So they held her altered mental status, unspecified altered mental status type. So she was seen. So she
psychosis, but there weren't enough beds to keep her, and she was sent home just 3 days later, the doctor telling David that Zoe needed some vitamins, food, and rest.
I was like, so you're telling me a snack and a nap is what you prescribed to her, and now she's okay?
Zoe wasn't okay. Within days of her release, her delusion.
Yeah, this was big news about a year ago. Then people stopped talking about it. But you know, a lot of times this doesn't end. I know that this stuff really exists because my sister had it with her second child, and if it wasn't for my mother, because my mother kind of noticed it right away, and you know, it's like nobody would have even known. Like she was fine with the first child, and then the second child just. But it happens to a lot of people.
Reappeared and accelerated. In the early morning hours of December 31st, Zoe was up pacing.
She was sprinkling me with that water, saying, bless you, bless you, bless you. But then she started drawing these crosses all over the house, on cabinet doors, on chairs, on the door of the house.
Zoe went outside into the yard. David went out after her to get her to come back inside. But their son Daniel began crying while David.
I don't know, though. This case here's always seemed a little weird to me. Usually the postpartum stuff has a shelf life, right? But I'll look into that. It's a weird case to go missing for this long. But, you know, we just went through, people go missing all the time. So
David went inside to change Daniel's diaper. Zoe disappeared. David walked the neighborhood but couldn't find her. He reported her missing the next day. Deputies from the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office searched for Zoe on land and by air. She was seen on a surveillance camera at a business in the area wearing a light-colored bathrobe, walking north on the Avenue of the Giants at about 8:30 on the morning she left.
I think that somebody picked her up. And I think that in that state of mind, she would be easily coerced into a car. She's cold, she's hungry, she's been out in the woods for, all night long. It's raining, it's cold, it's miserable. So somebody could have coaxed her into the car pretty easily.
But Zoe wasn't just battling an illness when she went missing. She and David were involved in a lengthy legal dispute with her adopted mother. David said he'd been very troubled by a letter her mother sent her months before she disappeared. They were quarreling over Zoe and her sister Jessie's inheritance of some property of her grandmother's. In the letter, her mother said,
I will spend all my money and also Jesse's to get you removed as a
All right, so the Avenue of the Giants is a 31.59 mile scenic highway in Humboldt Redwood State Park in Northern California. So hold on a second. Avenue of the Giants. Let's see if I can find block. It's in the Redwoods, so California. So map guide. Anyway, I'll find it.
trust beneficiary. And then her next sentence is the one that draws the most interest to me. It says, you will be legally dead, period.
David is haunted by this letter and the fact that it's been almost a year and there are still no answers.
Right now, I'm just so upside down with everything in this.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would have never thought my sister would have had it. She's such a great mom. You know, she didn't have it with the first child, but the second child, it was Zoloft saved you. Yeah, my mother was over there all the time. Anna was in heaven after I had me. You were pregnant in jail. Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think there's really a lot of. Thank you for the likes. All right, so let's back to this here.
World, because I don't have my other half, and it's killing me every day.
We have another look at Zoe's picture. Anyone with information about her whereabouts can contact the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office, 707-445-7251. Zoe's fiance, David, joining us now to talk more about the case. I'm so sorry, David, for what you and your...
Okay, so let's do this here. Hold on a second. Stop this here. Okay, so this is where that is in California here. This is a long stretch of road, 39, 35, 36, basically 36 miles. So it was anywhere in here. And it's pretty remote. You know, it's, anything could have happened around. There's a lot of, I'm assuming there's a lot of, I have a feeling there's a serial killer in California. But that's just my opinion. I don't really have a lot of information on that yet. But I think there's a recent scare in something, especially this part of California here. But this is this place here. Let's go take a little ride. I mean, look at this place. It's beautiful. I'd love to go to California, but I'd love to go to this part of California here. I mean, it looks just so, I mean, look at these trees. Good God. This is beautiful country here. They make trees out here. My God. Look at this. What's this here? I don't know why this place is so blurred like this here. What is this here? I can't even read that. Is this my computer or is this just the way it is? Look at these trees. Wow. Holy crap. I mean, this is beautiful country here. Look at this. All right, so let's get back to this here. Barbara's here. Hi, Barbara. How are you? Good to see you. It's always good to see Barbara in here. All right, let's get back to this here. So we're just going over the case, missing case of Zoe Penrod here, or Zoe.
Son and your family are going through as you approach the 1 year mark.
We'll put it this way. I have a hard time believing this woman just walked off. But that's just me. It's possible. Again, when it's any type of case like this, they probably put 30% on her just taking off. But you know, there's 70% of me that says that this is not just a runaway here.
Tell me about any new leads, any new clues in your fiance's disappearance.
Seen her.
David, I am so sorry. I'm gonna jump in real quick because we're having an audio issue with you, but I want to bring in Law Olmsted, a private investigator, and as we work on your audio.
That's awful. You hit a rock in the middle of a redwood forest while driving, drained all of my oil out. Yeah, trees don't move, especially those trees. I've never been to California, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But those places look pretty. You could probably get lost there easy.
Issue. I'm going to ask Law a few questions. I'm so sorry. It's just really difficult to hear you. Law, you're here and you've listened to the details of this case. Zoe walked off on her own, but she clearly was going through some challenges mentally. How difficult is it a year later to get police support, public help in a case as unique as this?
It's incredibly difficult. We're at the 1 year point just in a couple of weeks now, or a few weeks. And when this much time passes with no.
Let's hold on a second. Well, I can probably just read this. I don't know why I did that. Damn it. Sorry. It's always good to see Barbara here. So this is basically the description of postpartum psychosis, or PPP for short, a serious mental health condition that can occur shortly after giving birth. But I heard this can happen up to 2 years from the birth. It's characterized by a sudden onset of psychotic symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, and bizarre behavior. PPP is a medical emergency that requires immediate intervention and hospitalization. Here's symptoms: severe confusion and feeling lost, obsessive thoughts about the baby, sleep problems. That's everything. I mean, any type of problem or anything, sleep problems are going to be part of it. Having too much energy and feeling upset, feeling paranoid, making attempts to harm yourself or your baby, being irritated and agitated. So this is basically just a female thing here. Talking more than usual or faster, behaving in a way that's aggressive or disruptive, and not needing sleep. So, PPP is different from the baby blues, which are mild mood changes that are normal and usually only last a few days. PPP is treatable, and early treatment increases the odds of good outcome. So that's that. So this is a serious thing here. I've known about this for a while. They used to call it postpartum depression, but now it's postpartum psychosis. And I've heard of the other one too, the baby blues. But I think that happens with most people. I think that's not just a female thing. I think. All right. So what am I doing? We're gonna go back to this here. I'll stop sharing this here. Sounds like someone on meth. Yeah. Do you get sleep problems on meth? I don't know. I'm assuming you probably do.
New clues, no updates from police, no intervention from family advocating more pressing.
I do want to start getting into this too fairly shortly. This guy is an awesome person here, but I want to get into some of the missing veterans here too. Because this is another part of society that nobody seems to give a shit about. But I do. So I'm going to try to start getting into this too here.
For answers, it's incredibly difficult. And when we look at the video, not really video, but a video capture of her on the Avenue of the Giants in her robe, as an investigator, my first question is, how did she get there? How far is that from her home? And is there any other businesses that could have captured video of her as well? And with that lack of information or connection, it leaves tons of questions at this point. And after a year, it's what we're looking at is something that probably not.
Is there a difference between postpartum depression and maybe there is, maybe you're right. Postpartum depression includes extreme sadness, low energy, anxiety, crying episodes, irritability. So there is a difference. You're right. Irritability, change in sleeping or eating patterns, it's the same. Loss of interest, joy, or pleasure in things you used to enjoy. They're very similar, though. PBD occurs in approximately 15% of births. So there you go. I don't think there was a percentage of the postpartum psychosis. So yeah, there is a difference. Thank you, JCN. I didn't know that.
Not very positive. The likelihood of finding her at this point is just not looking good, and I'm very concerned for her.
And it also becomes a challenge, right? There's less of a sense of urgency when someone walks off on their own, even if they were going through, mental psychosis, as Zoe's family says she was.
After watching Breaking Bad, the series, though, I think I know more about meth than I want to. So there is a difference. Yeah, it's I didn't know that. Because I heard that postpartum depression can last for a couple of years, or you can get it not only at birth, but one of them you can get up to 2 years or so of
that you don't get quite the resources and the attention that other cases would get, adding another layer for this family.
Well, before this event occurred where she left her residence, she had
First of all, I think there's 70% in this case here that there's foul play. I don't think. I think she might have had this postpartum psychosis thing here, but I think she met with foul play too at the same time. That's just my opinion.
Interaction with police before that, where
she might have ran off, but after running off, she probably met with foul play after that.
She was acting erratically. So any kind of communication from her home, from her boyfriend, David, indicating that she may have had another episode and walked away and he would not know.
It's a woman doing Walhalla. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Jocelyn, people on that scared the hell out of me.
Know where she was would require a response from police, and I'm sure they acted responsibly and get out as quickly as they could. Everything that they've done so far as Humboldt County sheriffs go, they've done everything that they could that I would expect them to do, but not finding her at this point, like I said, is very.
Put it this way, I think there needs to be a lot more study on mental health issues and much more funding that goes into it. I don't think we know enough about things to say that we do know enough about things. I mean, there's so many wonderful people out there that are trying. There's Dr. Ann Burgess. There's I mean, some of these people are so good at it, but I think there needs to be much more emphasis on the mental health, especially in this country here, done.
Very concerning, and the questions come back to the house. What was going on at the house to where she left, or did she leave? Was she taken somewhere by someone? There's so many questions.
Yeah, well, and as David said, he thinks she may have been picked up by someone. What advice do you have, Law, for families like David and Zoe?
You never ever know what's going on inside people's house. Relationships that seem and you hear about it all the time, like every single cold case you hear about, there's always some sort of they were such a nice couple, they had so much love and all of this stuff, and come to find out it wasn't that way. Jenny, I'm okay. We had that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Hope you're okay. Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. People who they do a very good job of hiding it, because it's my opinion that 95 to 99%, I think everybody suffers from some sort of mental. I mean, their brains, right? They're just not perfect. So.
These who are trying to get answers and not understanding quite yet where to turn.
Well, stay in constant contact with the law enforcement agency that she was, or their loved one was reported to. Speak to as many media outlets as possible. Get in touch with us at the Missing Persons Center. That's what we do, is we guide families through the process of understanding what the protocol is, what to expect from law enforcement, and how to bring some more attention.
Two things I hate: women, not women, weddings and funerals. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. She definitely looks pregnant there.
The case, but the biggest thing is really staying in touch with police.
That's a boy, for sure.
Police need to know that someone cares about her, not just one single person, but a network of people, friends, family members, coworkers, whoever it is. They need to show interest and advocate and advocate and advocate.
Is that like one of the cutest puppies in the world? Did you see that puppy? Hold on a second.
Network of people, friends, family members.
Look at this dog. He's cute.
Co-workers, whoever it is, they need to show interest and advocate and advocate and advocate.
How common is it? I can think of a number of cases, Law, that we have covered where someone was going through a mental health crisis and tried to get help and then essentially just wander off. In the cases that you pursue, is that more common than people may think?
You know, it's hard to say if it's more common, because oftentimes what we hear, what you hear, even what the police hear, isn't really the true story. Oftentimes we hear about people wandering off. But
thank you so much for coming in, woman doing Walla Holla. I never know what to say. I've been told before not to say sorry, but just sad you had to go through that. It's not good. We appreciate you too. We're glad you're here for sure. Nicole Baldwin case. Yep, absolutely. I don't know. These things, he's not fooling me. But you never know. You never know. She could have just taken off for sure.
They didn't really wander off. That's just what is being reported as what happened to them. But there are a number of cases where people do literally wander off for many reasons, usually, mental health issues. And they just end up usually in the hands of some opportunist. We live in a society where people present themselves one way, and even people in law enforcement. I've worked on cases where
There's so much opportunity in this any country really, but this one here, you could take off. There's nothing really stopping you from taking off. You can just get a, you know how it is. You used to do the same thing when we were getting fake IDs and stuff like that. It's so easy to do. Just hire somebody on the street to get you a fake ID. I mean, you can go missing here in 2 seconds if you really wanted to. Because the cops aren't going to go looking for you, that's for sure, unless you've done something wrong. But if you haven't done anything wrong, you could just leave. No one would ever find you.
where law enforcement went and picked up somebody, and the next thing you know, the person was dead. So I'm not saying this is one of those cases, but there's a lot of people just driving around, not looking for people. But if they spot someone, especially a female dressed in a robe, and the weather's not great or whatever, they're definitely going to pull over and see what's going on. And if the opportunity arises, some of those people will act inappropriately and under the guise of taking care of the person or bringing them back home.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because some people will say, "Oh, you're not supposed to say sorry," because I've lost people too, and I've never had a problem with that. But so I guess the best thing to do is to just be genuine. I feel awful about that. Yeah, weddings and I don't get along, and I don't drink anymore. So, like, why would I go to a wedding? People say that all the time. Why don't you go to Vegas? Like, why the hell would I go to Vegas? I don't drink. You guys are awesome.
Won't do that. Something else will happen. So,
Yeah,
this is usually what happens in those cases, but it happens 20% of the time, realistically.
yeah, taking advantage of someone vulnerable. Law, stand by. I believe we have David back with us. David, I apologize for the audio issues, and thank you so much for your patience. As I was talking to Law there, his first investigative question goes to that day, the last day that you saw Zoe. Take us through those moments, those last few hours around your house, and what was going on that day.
But like I said, it was right before, it was right after this. She had been returned back to us from the hospital, saying that she was going to be fine, even though clearly she wasn't. I was very skeptical of that from jump. But that day I was trying to lay down to go to sleep, and she kind of got up. She didn't really want to go to sleep. She was just awake, and she's walking and pacing around the house. I was laying down with our son, and then she said she woke up. She woke me up by kind of sprinkling water onto me, saying, "Bless you, bless you." And when she did that, I got up. I was like, "Why you throw water on me?" And then I seen that she had on all these pieces all over the house, and on the walls, on the cabinets, and everything else. And when I questioned her about it, that's when she went outside. She went out into the yard and she started pacing back and forth in the yard. And I went out after her and tried to convince her to come inside. And we kind of just, I wouldn't say arguing, but I was arguing to get her to come inside. And then I said, I heard the baby crying. And I said, I've got to go inside and get our son who's crying. I'd love your help. Please come inside. And I went inside. And she changes that. I was in there for maybe 3 minutes. at tops. And when I came back outside, she was gone. I ran to the street. I looked both ways. The street just goes one of two ways. It's all fenced in on either side. I went as far as I could see to the road, to the main road out there, and I didn't see her that way, so I assumed that she had gone around the other side. I had my son still with me, and being that it was getting cold, and he was just wrapped in a blanket and a diaper at that time. So I got him back inside and got a friend to look after my son, so I could look at Zoe, and did not find her, didn't see her anymore.
Me and my hubby don't drink much. We actually have friends that have ghosted us over us not drinking like they do. Yeah, good for you. Good. Holy hell. I'm not a drinker. Maybe every 5-ish years I have. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the baby is cute for sure. Babies are cute till you bring them home. God, I wish I could smoke dope. I really do. It'd be so much better. But for now, I have my Zoloft, and that's all I need. Zoloft and melatonin.
Called everybody, tried to contact everybody that we knew in the area.
That's a small baby, though. That's
and did not find her. Didn't see her anymore.
There's almost well, I mean, it's average, I guess. Fat rolls here. Definitely, I'd say probably 7 pounds or so, seven. They don't let you go more than a couple of weeks now, so it's tough to get a baby over 9 pounds these days.
Called everybody, tried to contact everybody that we knew in the area. Hey, let me know if you see Zoe. She walked out again, and nothing. And that's when it really kind of set in on me. Like, okay, she must have walked into the woods down the avenue of the Giants. That's not. So the balancing it between my son.
It was so funny because my first daughter was so. They were way off with my first daughter. They thought she was going to be a big baby. They actually wanted to take her a few weeks before they did, and I said, "Fuck that, no way." So she was almost premature. She was I think she was like six something. So when the second one came, me and my wife were like so happy she was fat. She said like fat rolls. We were saying, "Oh my God, she's so fat. That's so awesome." So the second one was more accurate, like seven. I think she was 7'6" or something like that. But the problem is that they just misjudge these days with the dates. It's just they got to be careful.
Having my son, and trying to find her was not an easy task by any means. It's only sold at times.
At what point, David?
Yeah, I don't think this guy's fooling anybody, but that's just me.
At what point, David, did she leave and you're looking for, you're trying to take care of your son? Did you call police? How much time lapsed when you were doing the search on your own before you got somebody else involved?
Well, when we were told that we can't report a missing person for 24 hours at that time. So
I was 9'8". My brother was crazy, but my brother was 10. I think my brother was like 10. he was a big kid. He was in an incubator for, I think, 2 months. He was 10. He's older than me. He was older than me. So he was about 10, 5, 10, 6. But back then that was, they let you go forever. Nowadays, after a couple of weeks, because I think you put a pound on, the baby puts like a pound of weight on every week. So they don't let you go too long. Yeah, I was, imagine that. I would never sleep again without Mary Jane. Yeah, I wish I could. I smoke way too many cigarettes for pot. Every time I smoke pot, my lung is just safe. Not today, buddy.
When we called, they said, well, it's not a missing person less than about 24 hours. That was the end.
It was so funny because I asked my doctor. If I asked my doctor, I'm like, can I smoke dope with Zoloft? And he's like, are you asking me to, condone your pot smoking? I'm like, no, I just want to know if this. Yeah, I smoke probably 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day, so that's about all my lungs are going to be able to take.
End of it. So literally at the 24-hour mark, I called and reported her as missing.
There's nothing like getting high, though. Getting high is like the greatest feeling. You just don't freaking care about anything in the world. I could always tell when my first wife was high because she'd clean the entire house. And no matter how clean the house was, she would always clean the house. That's how I could tell you're high. I know you're high because you're cleaning the house and you just cleaned it like 5 minutes ago.
In person, since she didn't show back up.
Some of the best times of my life were when I was high. I mean, just he's pregnant right there, that's for sure.
At that point in time, I was fairly sure that we were going to find her. Somebody was going to find her. It's a very small town. There's not a lot of places for her to go, and I didn't see how she was evade everyone. Everyone's noticed, but somehow she did.
Your town, your community, the terrain, what the weather was like the day that she went missing.
I literally have the greatest doctor in the world. He's he's from where is he from? He's from Trinidad or something like that. He's just a great guy. Are you asking me to condone your pot smoking? Try cartridges, Dave. I can't smoke flowers anymore because of my legs. Yeah, I just the problem with pot with me too is I have anxiety, so the pot kind of interacts with that anxiety a little bit, and if I have any more anxiety if I'm smoking pot, it kind of adds to the anxiety because sometimes when you smoke pot, you're kind of like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. You kind of worry more a little bit. Thumbs up, all. We love Barbara. Barbara's awesome. Oh, you clean the house too. I could always tell when my first wife was high. Some people can't smoke pot. Some people shouldn't smoke pot. It's just my opinion.
River was high. It was raging pretty fast, and that was my biggest fear. The town is very small. The town has.
They always say, when people do that a lot with their eyes, when they look up into their head, they're trying to look for answers, or they're trying to. I'm not saying that this guy's doing that, but body language experts will say that when you're reaching for something to say, when you're trying to fabricate a story, you'll kind of watch this guy here and how he does that. Not saying he has anything to do with it. I'm just saying, if you listen to body expert analysis, they'll say that with the eye thing here.
maybe 200 people in it total at best. And everybody knows everybody out there. I mean, there's no, everybody knew who she was, who I was, whoever else out there. So it wasn't like, it's not a huge area. The town itself is only a mile in length. And it works, it's in.
Yeah, I think myself personally, I've always kind of been an advocate of legalizing marijuana. I don't see any problem with marijuana at all. I just don't. People do. Some people should be on pot. You know, some people are probably better off on pot than they are not. But a cartridge that contains limonene. It's a terpene that's in most we know. It's I should. I'll ask my doctor again, but he'll probably just yell at me. So I don't think there's anything wrong with coming home from a hard day's work, right? And instead of drinking a 12-pack of beer, sitting down on the sofa, lighting up a fatty and just easing into the day, you know, like I see nothing wrong with that. You're over and done with your high in about an hour. You can go and do other things for the rest of the day. I just don't see anything wrong with it. Sorry.
Kind of a horseshoe type shape as far as the streets. It ends right there on the Giants, which then trails off in the woods for several miles in either direction.
Did she have a cell phone with her?
And it was cold. It was rainy. I really did not. It wasn't
a person on pot.
It wasn't rainy at that time. It still is December.
It was cold. We're having some audio issues again, David, but hang with me. Did she have a cell phone with her?
No, she had left her cell phone. She had left her wallet. She had left everything that she had right there at the house. She was wearing a bathrobe and some.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that at all. Nobody. I don't know. I'll replay it again, but nobody does that. Sorry.
It wasn't rainy at that time. It still is December.
It was cold. We're having some audio issues again, David, but hang with me. Did she have a cell phone with her?
No, she had left her cell phone. She had left her wallet. She had left everything that she had right there at the house. She was wearing a bathrobe and some little shorts, and that was about it.
How about law enforcement? Once you did get in touch with them and declare her a missing person, what has the investigation looked like, and have there been any clues left behind?
See, it's just way too long of a pause here. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward question, right? I'll replay it again, but usually if you're, I don't know, I'm trying not to judge this guy, but usually if your wife is missing, right, and you care, you don't have to pause. I mean, I know that's probably not the easiest question to answer, but I'll play it again. I mean, you should be able to come out with, I don't want to say rapid fire answers, but, definitely not a 4-hour pause.
And declare her a missing person. What has the investigation looked like, and have there been any clues left behind?
There haven't been any clues left behind. The investigation, when we called and reported her missing, I'll say it was nothing happened initially. It was actually a group of volunteers that came together from the community that ramped up a little search party about 3 days after she had gone missing. And then law enforcement sort of took their cues from that.
It's only been a year, right? It's only been, she went missing back in January this year, actually. So early January. So it's December now. So it's about a year. So these I don't know. Maybe I'm being too judgmental, but these answers should be a little bit more, like vernacular should be coming out stronger than this. Like, your wife is missing. It's been a year. You have the opportunity now to be on a 1-year kind of interview with a major network here. You should be. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
It was 8 days
This guy seemed weird to me last year too, but I don't know.
before they did a 1 mile perimeter search with the actual police. Now they did run the helicopters up and down the river a couple times there. A couple days after, 2 days after, they said that they flew some drones, but it was bad weather and they couldn't really get much from the drones. So
I got to look that up, but I don't think. I mean, 9 times out of 10, if people are going to leave, they're going to take some stuff with them. They're not going to leave everything behind. It's just suspicious to me. I think coke should be illegal. Yeah, me too.
it was just one thing after another, but they didn't really. I don't feel like they really did very much in an appropriate amount of time. Like I said, to go wait 8 days before you do a 1 mile perimeter check, we've already checked that perimeter, of a mile around.
She looks like. I mean, this is how you don't know, right? She just this picture here. She looks very, very happy. Like, she looks very content. Hand on her head here, smiling. But you just never know what's going on up here, right? It's just so weird.
Around the area prior to this 8 days, and now, it's been way too much time. She's not going to be there at this point in time. There was.
This is exactly how I feel. That's just my opinion. Just legalize it all. I know people will disagree with that, but takes the middle guy out. That's for sure.
One other person that thinks that they saw her on the side of the road the next day, and he called.
Yeah, nobody saw her the next. Nobody. Come on, just stop. This guy is starting to really piss me off here. It's just really. I mean, I'm not trying to pass judgment. It's just I don't. You can't bullshit me. Okay, it's not going to happen.
And reported it to the Humboldt police, and they said that
somebody saw her on the side of the road. What is she, a hobo? I mean, come on now. Let's stop.
They would look into it. I don't know if they ever did. They claim that they never got a call. He showed me on his phone where he called them, so I know they did. But he said that what drew his attention to her was the fact that she just looked confused and lost, as opposed to hungover on drugs or something like that.
Is that the drugs doing that though, or is that the people? Because you can blame drugs on anything. Sometimes it's got nothing to do with the drugs; it's the people themselves. Was secretary to president. Yep. Exactly.
Just genuinely looked confused, lost, sitting along the side of along the highway.
I had the same, when I was an alcoholic, I had the same issue. But that was my fault. That was my problem. I'm with Dino on this thing here. As long as it doesn't affect me or doesn't, hurt anybody, it's fine with me. That's for sure.
How much support, David, do you
other
have
than that,
from
there's been no sign.
Yeah.
Nothing.
How much support?
I mean, alcohol does more damage than just about any other drug on the planet, and it's illegal, and it's been legal for a long time. So I don't, Decriminalization in Portland. I just say the day because it has killed 7 people. I'm glad I don't drink anymore.
Support do you have? You mentioned her family, her extended family. How much support and help have you had from others in your community, friends, and family? And are you still concerned about any of those who may be involved, without naming any names? But do you still have reservations about that letter and a dispute, a legal dispute?
I definitely still have concerns about that letter. It bugs me to no end just because of the wording that she put in there.
Yeah, again, I don't want to get too involved in this thing, but mental health is an issue, man. It's got nothing to do with drugs. But mental health, people need to really start getting into, the underlying problem. The underlying problem is people have anxiety, people have depression, and unfortunately, when you say mental health, people sometimes think you're kind of making fun of people at the same time, but people have serious issues, man. And they use prescribed drugs to try to interact with those things. So, I think a little bit more time and effort, and unfortunately, money needs to go into trying to develop ways to figure these things out, as opposed to just, here's a prescribed drug, get out of my office thing approach. That's just my opinion.
There and how,
because sometimes, like I said, it's not the drug, it's the person.
How awful she has been towards Zoe, and I wouldn't put it past her to do something nefarious. I don't want to. I can't make any claim that she's done anything that seems a bit outlandish as well. But at the same time, I don't put anything past her. And this whole the community.
Before I had my issues, I thought the same thing with mental health issues. I thought it was all in people's, that was a way for people to just kind of, avert the problems of society, but mental health issue is a real problem. I've had it, so I know, and I do have it. OCD runs rampant in my family. Like, we didn't find out this shit until later. Like, my brother was pretty much schizophrenic, and he had very smart. My brother was very smart. He learned Chinese fluently. He could speak Chinese fluently. He could actually write Chinese fluent. Very smart, but he had he was almost autistic. I think he was autistic, and his son is definitely autistic. We all have it. OCD runs. I know about this until later in life. So it sucks because people just don't sometimes take it seriously.
Community out there was helping me out quite a bit. I have my family out here. That's why I took my son and I had him come out to Arizona with my family. That's where I'm currently residing because I needed help to raise this kid. I've got exploded in my life for sure. But the day after Zoe went missing, we reported her missing. Jesse's sister, biological sister, who's the other recipient of Zoe's.
They're actually using some drugs now to, especially hallucinogenics, to kind of, which are basically just natural ways of solving things. Hallucinogenics are basically natural anyways. Wish Asylums are still open because mentally, that was such a great movie. What the hell was that name of that movie? What's his face? Something Island, Shutter Island. That was such a good movie. My grandmother was in Damage State Hospital. My mom said she had to visit as a kid, and patients would just scream. It scared her, yeah, because they didn't know how to deal with it. we love Mino Dino here. Classic. Oh. Joyzy. It's Joyzy. I love New Jersey. New Jersey is one of my favorite states. New Jersey, some of the beaches there, some of the Long Island beaches, they're just you just have to have a lot of money to be there. But the beaches are just fantastic.
Trust, all the trust, and shut off Zoe's.
Look at that baby. Look at the fingers. She looks happy there.
Funds from continuing for whatever reason. I don't understand what her
Do you think this guy has a speech impediment, or is he just like this?
reasoning was. It was set up for a small amount to be deposited every month to take care of our son and to pay for our living expenses. And I've been quite upset about that ordeal. In fact, now I had to move from our home, so she has no home to find her way back to at this point in time. I've moved out of the state, had the choice to do so, and
We love Barbara here. Barbara is an amazing person. Did Southern Gal leave? Did she leave and I didn't say goodbye? Damn it. If you love Southern Gal, goodbye. Have a great weekend. We love you too. I got to get my khakis and drive to the city. Okay. I thought you left and said goodbye and I didn't say goodbye. Bubs, you got to get my khakis and... Oh, you're a prison nurse? The last thing you want to do in prison, if you're in prison, is get dental help. They'll kill you. They will literally kill you. Have a good night. I need to go get my beauty sleep. All right, buddy. Have a good night. We're almost done with this here, and then I'm going to go over another case, and then we'll be out of here shortly too. This guy's not fooling me here.
You know, it's been a nightmare. As far as the I have for my family, it's been.
I don't think this guy's fooling her either.
So
I'm glad you've got some support from family, but what a frustrating nightmare you are living. David, I'm about out of time, but I did want to ask you finally what it meant to Zoe. I know the two of you had plans for your future to get married. What did it mean to her to be a mom, and what were her hopes and dreams for the future?
She was so excited to become a mom again. This was something that we were both so thrilled with this. It was a long time in the making, and she was such a happy mom. I mean, you can see the pictures that we have of her out there. I mean, she was elated. And so was I. I mean, I'm still excited. It's the greatest gift I've ever been given is my son. And
Oh, you poor thing. You work in a maximum security prison. Oh, you poor person. Oh, that's got to be a nightmare. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, I'm telling you, prisons are like adult daycare centers. Everybody's always complaining. Everybody always wants their rights. It's just I'd have to unalive myself. It just would. And I was there years ago. Those are straight from hell, yeah.
I just want her to know that she is so loved and so missed, and we just want her to come safe to get her back. Nothing else. I don't know other things.
All right, so I'll keep an eye on this here. Just wanted to play this because it's kind of like the 1-year anniversary of this lady going missing. 30% of me, it's kind of like the Mara Murray case. 30% of me says she could have probably just walked away from it all. But if she walked away from it all, she probably had some sort of an issue with this psychosis thing, or maybe she was being abused, something like that, or either way, it's not good. But 70% of me probably says there's some sort of foul play going on here because she probably would have come back by now. That's just me. All right, so let's get out of this. And then I want to go, this is a little bit closer to me here. So I want to go over this case here because let's do this. This is the missing, she's been missing for a couple of months here. And I was almost going to go up there last week here. I still might go up there. So anyways, this is the update for the missing Maine girl here. Members of Maine State Police and the FBI's Boston Division are providing an update on the ongoing search for Stephanie Damron, a girl from New Sweden who has been missing for more than 2 months. I think that Arctic True Fox did something on this too. This was done. This is a press conference. This was done on December 2nd. So we'll play this here. So she basically just walked off into the woods and she hasn't been seen for 2 months. That's basically what's going on. And I'll pull up where New Sweden, Maine is. And that's about as north as you can go in this country anyways, unless you're in Alaska. It's about as north as you can go without being in Canada. So here's this.
They're coming out now, of course.
Paula's leaving. Good night, Paula. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. She was first one here, so she gets the cookie. Thank you, Paula. Say
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Scott Goslin. I'm a major with the Maine State Police. Maine State Police called this press conference in conjunction with the Federal Bureau of Investigation to help bring attention to the disappearance of 14-year-old Stephanie Damron. Stephanie was last seen on September 23rd, leaving her home in New Sweden on foot and walking into the woods behind her home. Stephanie's.
So let me share this here for a second. Arctic Fox does a great job with these cases here. So here's New Sweden. This is way up. This is moose country up here. There's nobody here. Like I said, this you could throw a rock and hit New Brunswick. This is way up. Not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying this is there's a lot of woods around here. Up here, you're better off going to Canada to get groceries because there's nothing here. It's all flat. It's all flat up here. And I can go here. Beautiful up here, though. It's absolutely gorgeous up here, but you are basically on your own. This is a Swedish colony here. Fun place, but it's up there. Hold on a second. Let me go back here. So I'm down. Hold on a second. I'm down here. About in here, this area here, and it would take a good day to get all the way up here. I mean, this is you're better off flying to get here. Maine is a big state, especially when you're up in here. Kimberly Moreau went missing. She was over here in J Maine, but when you're up in here, there's literally nothing there. there's some, the town is the town, but this, anyways, let's go back to this here. Just wanted to show people where that was. There's virtually middle of nowhere. So if she walked out in those woods,
He's very concerned for her safety, as are we. And to our knowledge, Stephanie does not have current access to electronic devices and has limited access to social media. We are looking for help from the public.
can anybody hear that?
In order to maintain a vigilance for Stephanie and to report any tips or leads that might be helpful to our investigation. Stephanie is a white female, approximately 5 feet tall, 130 pounds, with shoulder-length brown hair, green eyes, as last reported wearing blue jeans.
The problem up here is, you got to worry about animals. This is black bear country up in here. Wolf, you name it. And if you go missing in here, it's basically due north of Caribou, Maine, and that's south of there. So this is far. This is really far.
Long sleeve blue shirt with black Harley Davidson hiking boots. A photograph of Stephanie is available for publication. You can see a picture here. Since her disappearance, the Major Crimes Unit detectives in our Northern Field Division, along with the Boston Division of the FBI, have spent hundreds of hours investigating her disappearance, conducting countless interviews, and following up on leads. The Maine Ward Service have canvassed the woods searching for Stephanie, but at this time, there's been no credible information or sightings of Stephanie. The Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit North is collaborating with the Federal Bureau of Investigation with this missing person investigation. Anyone with information concerning Stephanie's whereabouts is urged to contact the Maine State Police at 1-800-924-2261 or 207-532-5400. And you may contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. At this time, I'd like to introduce Special Agent in Charge, Kim Milka from the FBI, who will be making an announcement regarding a reward related to this case.
Thank you, Major. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Nobody acts like like a child more than a grown man in jail. Like that's all you hear every single day. It's just so annoying. Oh my God, just shut up. You're not innocent. We don't care. Just shut up. And it's all day, every day of your life. It's just so, you're like, oh God. They're so annoying. They complain about everything.
Coming and for helping us keep the public informed about our efforts to locate Stephanie.
And you can't trust them with anything either. Nothing. Zero. I've only been to jail twice long ago, but I had a great rapport with the guards. They put people going through extra hard times in with me. Don't talk to cops ever. Yeah, don't. Men with cold jets. It's so annoying. It just is. Oh, shut up. Stop it. Stop talking. Just shut up.
I'm Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Kimberly Milka with the FBI. Our hearts are with the family and friends of 14-year-old Stephanie Gamron, who are patiently waiting for answers about her disappearance and are hoping for her safe return home. On September 27th, 2024, the FBI joined forces with our law enforcement partners to assist in the search. Today, we are renewing our call for the public's assistance, and we are here to announce that the FBI is offering a significant reward of up to $15,000 for information leading to her safe return or the arrest and prosecution of anyone involved in her disappearance. The FBI hopes this reward.
I mean, I probably was the only person in there that sided with authority because it's just so. that's how I learned that, you know, everybody in prison is innocent. And everybody in prison finds God. And the reason why people find God is because they can get good time, and sometimes get out of their cells once in a while, to go to church. So that's why they find God. And that's why they're innocent. Everybody's innocent.
Board will incentivize anyone with information about Stephanie's whereabouts to come forward. Any detail, no matter how small, would be helpful.
This is just another tragic case. I hope they find her, but not sure.
Stephanie's family desperately wants to know where she is, and we are fully committed to helping our law enforcement partners exhaust every investigative resource to find her and bring her home. Immediately after she was reported missing, the FBI brought in our Child Abduction Rapid Deployment, or CAR team. The CAR team is a group of highly trained and experienced subject matter experts on cases involving missing children. Investigators have conducted dozens of interviews and followed up on leads in Maine, across the country, and in Canada. Despite extensive investigative efforts, including a neighborhood canvas and video search, along with an expansive grid search utilizing canines from Maine Warden Service and Maine State Police, Stephanie is still missing. We will continue to assist Maine State Police with on-the-ground investigative, technical, and analytical support. We know many of you want to help, which is why we are asking the public to review Stephanie's missing person poster and share it on social media. Rest assured, we are working to find out what happened to Stephanie and reunite her with her family.
So we'd also like to take just a moment and thank the members of the public and the media for their continued attention to this case. Your efforts in keeping Stephanie's disappearance in the forefront of the community are invaluable, and we do appreciate your support as we remain focused on bringing her home safely. As you know, there are some investigative details and strategies that are unable to be shared at this time, but we will do our best to answer a few questions if you have.
Did she have a cell phone and leave it behind, or did she not have one at all? And if she did leave it behind, what does that tell you about this investigation?
There were no devices taken with her at this time, and she did not have a cell phone.
And she went away before, and what is your hope that maybe that she's run away again this time?
So this behavior has not been uncommon for Stephanie, which is why I think the family waited a little bit of time, gave her a little bit of time before calling the police immediately. And so, but in this case, for obvious reasons, since she hasn't turned up, slowly ratcheted up all the investigative resources that are present, in that area today for this reason.
We've got some information about that there may be some concerns inside the household, no running water, things like that. There's other children in the household with DHHS.
Yes, thank you for that question. Of course, yeah. So in any of these cases, whenever we have a minor that's involved, that goes missing, or
Yeah, this is terrible. I wanted to go up there, but we've been getting so much snow here. I mean, this would take me. I'm trying to make excuses already, but this would take me all day to get up there. It's a good. I'd probably have to stay up there, but I would definitely would. This poor kid. Let me see if I can fix this here. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Whoops. Let's play this here.
or there could be issue in the home, yeah, DHHS is always notified in those circumstances. Certainly in this case, they would.
One of the flyers I saw said ties to West Virginia, Texas, and New Hampshire. Is that accurate? And if so, are those friends or other family members?
So the tips that have come in for out of the area, so there's some for Canada and other states. They're tips from the public that maybe she had a social media friend at the time or acquaintance. So we just try to follow up on any information from those outside states.
Do you have any like reason to believe that there was like foul play? Because you said the card unit was involved, and then, or maybe that she's like with somebody, or was there someone she might have been meeting?
So at this point,
So I'll just kind of read some of this. So the FBI said she was homeschooled and has limited access to social media. So that's why she doesn't have a lot of social media, but they probably wouldn't be getting a lot of service around there anyway. Hold on a second. Trying to go through some of the information. To our knowledge, Stephanie does not have current access to electronic devices and has limited access to social media. All right, so let's get out of that. I'm just trying to read through some of this. Actually, let's share this. Hold on a second. We can go back to that if we have to. I guess they had a vigil or something the other day. Okay, so that's her there. Maine State Police say Dameron does have a history of running away from home. Who can blame her? Our hearts are with the family and friends, 14-year-old Stephanie Dameron, who are patiently waiting for answers. According to Bangor Daily News, the vigil will be held Saturday, December 21st at 1 p.m. Is that real? December 21st, all the way then. Organized told the BDN they want to get the word out that Dameron is still missing. So these are the new photos here. This was done the 21st of November. She was last seen on September 23rd, leaving her house on West Road in New Sweden and walking into the woods. So let's hold on a second. Let's go back. Stop sharing this for a second. God, I wish I had more time on my hands. I would just go up there.
everything is still on the table for us. From her simply being missing to run away to the worst situation, because we don't have any concrete leads or tips.
West Road.
Based in one direction or the other. So we don't want to leave anything on the table and not take something serious. So, but at this point, there's nothing that leads us in one specific direction.
Was it verified that she went into the woods and the dogs, or was there any sort of,
Other than the information that that's where she was headed, was woods, and that is also past behavior as well.
You haven't uncovered like any evidence of where whereabouts?
Yeah.
All right, hold on a second. Let me stop sharing that. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the chat right now. I'm trying to. Okay, so we are right now on West Road. In New Sweden, Maine. So minimize this. So let's go take a drive here. Just trying to see if there's Hold on a second. This is, yeah, this is West Road. See, the thing here is like, there's not a lot of, businesses here that, you know, that are gonna have, I mean, that looks like a convenience store there. So there might be some sort of surveillance camera there. But what you're looking for with surveillance cameras is like banks that have ATMs. Where the hell, where did I go? Station Road. I want to go. Okay, so this turns into Station Road. This happens in Maine a lot. These roads turn into different roads. This is Station Road here. So let's turn around here. Just trying to look for, you know, like maybe surveillance cameras here that could catch. But this is a pretty rural road here. This is, what's this here? This is just like an apartment building here. That's a church here. Because it says she went, Stephanie Demmer was reported missing on September 24th. She was last seen on September 23rd, leaving her house on West Road in New Sweden and walking into the woods. So anywhere on this wood, in this, she was on West Road. So anywhere here on this road, but there's not going to be a lot of video surveillance, I don't think. All right, so let's go back to this here, and then got one more thing to play, and then we'll get out of here. How's that sound? All right.
I know you guys waited a little bit to do that ground search, to do that extensive ground search, you know, with the members of the community. Do you guys think maybe you waited too late to do that in order for dogs to get sent, or what's the thought process on that?
So the ground search with the warden service was only 2 days after the fact. Typically in a missing person investigation, you start with the investigative leads, and then you call them.
And they're so dumb. The intelligence. I want a lot of money. Of course, back when I was there, it was, you know, all about cigarettes. If you had cigarettes, you were God. You know, just a lot of favors. Nowadays, you probably can't smoke in prison, so cigarettes are no good. But when I was there, and I was there for just a, when I was in prison here, they were redoing the prison, so the prison was in with the jail, so that's why. But back when I was there, you could have millions of dollars. You were useless. You didn't. If you had cigarettes, you were God. You.
The resources that you need. So it's a matter of following up. I said, no, I don't believe it's too late. And the wardens did a little grid search as well. So, you know, so it's more than just dogs. It's also human.
What about?
Hey, it's Charlotte. Charlotte's here. It's good to see Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? We're going to be getting back into The Princess in the Tower pretty soon because Honeybee sent me some information just the other day, actually, and we're probably going to be getting back into that at some point. But right now, there's, you know, a lot of this other stuff going on. So, but we will be getting back into that. I don't know if it's important, but it's, you know, whatever. But it's good to see Charlotte. Charlotte's awesome.
Anything that has led to trafficking, sex trafficking?
It's really not new news. It's older. It's old news, I guess. But it's news.
trafficking. I mean, we're talking the northern part of Maine, which people think it doesn't happen there, but in your experience, has there been anything that could be connected to this?
Again, all possibilities of what happens to Stephanie are still on the table. We don't have any specific information, but that's what's happened. But we are trying to look into any tips that would lead us in that direction.
And because it's so far up north, I know you said you were searching Canada as well. If she was in Canada, like how would that process move forward? Like looking for her.
We would partner with
That would be FBI for sure.
the RCMP or the FBI also have resources that we can partner with them along with to follow up on any information.
And the FBI doesn't typically get involved with, say, a typical runaway case. So people might be asking, why are you here? Is it because the family is concerned because it's been 2 months?
Well, I think in any missing persons case, especially so close to the border like this, you're gonna want to involve the FBI, especially in any missing persons case where we haven't taken anything off the table, nothing has been ruled out or eliminated, crossing state lines.
Maine has a horrible track record for missing persons cases. It's not good. It doesn't happen a lot in Maine, but when it does, they have a very bad track record. I've been following the Kimberly Morrow case for about a year now, and that's like a 30-year-old case, and it doesn't look like it's going to be getting solved anytime soon. And I feel so bad for the family. Hopefully, this doesn't turn into that, but their track record isn't all that great.
Is certainly in one of those possibilities, and of course that's outside.
He
our
does.
jurisdiction.
That's a good one. He does.
For help from the FBI.
Are there concerns she could still be in the woods, but more danger with the falling temperatures and the snow this week?
There's a storm there again. Is that I forgot the name of that one. Sorry to hear that, Charlotte. Hope you're okay. He does. He looks just like him. I was trying to figure out who he looks like.
Of course, there's always that concern. I think our hope at the beginning of hunting season is that a hunter might come across something that would lead us in one direction or the other. That has not happened. There is still a little bit of hunting time left up in that area, so I would highly encourage those hunters that are up there to be extra vigilant.
Although this was like common behavior with Stephanie, was there any?
When I say there's nothing up there, there's literally nothing up there. There's I keep going over the fact that they did a survey, or they actually did a scientific study on, when people say the middle of nowhere, they actually did a scientific study on where in America the middle of nowhere is, and Maine came in second. I think first place came in somewhere in, it was either Montana or might have actually been somewhere in Utah, but Maine came in second because they based it off of the nearest population between certain acreages of land, and Maine was right up there. Maine, when you go up to Maine, everybody basically lives on the coast, but when you go northwest, there's nothing there. You have better chance up there of seeing a moose than you do a person. That's how sparse it is. It's very and then you get into Canada and see if it was absolutely nobody.
Thing that maybe the family indicated was different about maybe conversations or anything, like moments leading up to her leaving?
Yeah, we're really not going to get into those investigative details about what was happening in her life in that day or two prior to, but at this point, everything is still on the table.
Tell me if DHA just intervened at all, or
No, I'm sorry, I can't speak to what DHHS is doing on their involvement.
Well, you said she had a history of running away. I mean, how many times has she tried to run away?
I can't speak to that except but for saying it was not uncommon. This was not uncommon behavior for Stephanie.
Was there a history of maybe mental health concerns or anything along those lines?
I don't believe there was at this point. I don't believe that there was any history of mental health concerns whatsoever. But again, certainly, we proceed with all of these cases as if anybody is under mental duress, anything like that. So if there was an issue, we certainly wouldn't do anything differently at this point.
Okay. Did she have one more question? Go ahead. Ask for it?
I don't know. I guess you can speak to that. I don't believe she did. No.
Did she leave a note? No.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that's that. Following to go over this case here with her. Mino Dino, I sent you a friend request, FDA. Cool. Jenny's same. I was wondering, Charlotte. I'm trying to track that storm that you were talking about, but it may take me a little while. All right, so let's play this. I want to do this here, and then we'll get out of here. Hold on a second. This is another one of those cold cases that were solved. I try to end the night on a good note. This was a 26-year-old case in I believe that's Washington. DNA evidence helped the Pierce County Sheriff's Department crack a cold case that haunted up Puyallup and Sumner community since 1988. So here we go. This is what I've been talking about. These cases here are they're getting grants for these old cases, and that's good news.
Evidence helped the Pierce County Sheriff's Department crack a cold case that's haunted the Puyallup and Sumner community since 1988. The body of Tracy Whitney was found in the Puyallup River, and investigators believe she had been strangled or suffocated. Now, genetic genealogy helped detectives find a match to the alleged killer's DNA by tracing it to one of his family members still living today.
Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling talked with law enforcement about how they were able to narrow it down to find their suspect, who was a total stranger to Tracy.
Whitney's body was found not far from where I'm standing at.
What's going on here? I was dumb and wasted 7 years of my violent, abusive ex doing drugs. He choked me out many times and broke my teeth. You poor thing. Oh my God. Oh, it's absolutely awful. Oh. 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 Yeah, live alone. That's my suggestion. Just don't get involved in anybody. Just live alone. Yeah, I feel bad about that. That's awful. We're always here for you. Nobody should have to go through that. That's this is one of the reasons why I decided to get into true crime, because I have literally no respect for anybody that does anything like this here. It's just I'm always available. Yeah. Charlotte's an amazing person. Absolutely. Pretty soon I'm going to try to hook up with some sort of a domestic abuse hotline or something that I'll have scrolling across the bottom here. But all right, let's get back to this here. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to live with that ever.
At the Puyallup Riverwalk trailhead, Pierce County investigators say that the DNA evidence was key in closing this case.
She had a way of making people feel
special.
Pictures of Tracy Whitney and younger sister Robin show a bit of life in the 80s.
Like when she was with me, I felt like I was her best friend.
Uncle Chad Bartlett, younger than Tracy by a few years, says for him, it's not the images.
That looks like Gray Hughes without the hat.
I just remember feeling happy.
But the feelings.
Some of the images fade, but like the way people make you feel is what stays with you.
After fishermen found Tracy's body on a sandbar where the Stuck River and the Puyallup River meet near Sumner in 1988, Bartlett never imagined the mysteries surrounding her death would haunt.
So this was done, I think this was done a few days ago, December 3rd. You know?
The family for more than 30 years.
You know, I think I'd given up thinking that we would ever have any answers.
She was at a Burger King with some friends and an ex-boyfriend. She got into an argument and walked away from that Burger King in Federal Way back in 1988.
Moss says 13 hours later, her body was found by fishermen.
Based on the evidence in the autopsy, they were able to tell that she had been smothered, strangled, beaten, and raped.
Investigators said DNA found on Tracy showed that a stranger committed this horrific.
Good for you. That's awesome, Heathery. That's amazing. Yep. Yeah, I was listening to that in your chat the other night with Steve. Mr. Steve is an amazing freaking person. He's arguably one of the greatest human beings on the planet, him and Mrs. Steve. Steve's always there. Just a great guy. I was on that the other night listening to that, and I was out driving around again, so I couldn't listen to the whole thing, but through a lot, Barbara. That's why we love you here. Hey, buddy, it's Fire and Ice. It's is that Thomas? Hey, buddy. Good to see you, man. Is that I think that's Thomas.
Crime. And cold until detectives got a grant from the state attorney general's office for genetic genealogy testing, which only recently led to John Giat Jr. of Puyallup.
Unfortunately, by the time we had these results back in 2022.
It's good to see Frosty in here. Frosty is an awesome guy. Frosty is excellent. I've known Frosty now for almost 2 years. Well, I don't know him, but it has to be 2 years because the first year he went to Vegas was the urine elevator, and then the second year was the crazy female stalking him. So it's been 2 years. Oh, you are definitely. I'm the one that should be thanking you, Barbara. I'm just happy I know you. You're an amazing person. Heather Brown, you've known me longer. Heather Brown, you're awesome. You and where would I be without you and Mino Dino?
He had died from cancer.
Moss said he had a strange history beyond Tracy's case.
His wife had committed suicide with a firearm. We investigated that. We believed it to be a suicide. But then fast forward to 2021, and we had another death in the family. His girlfriend who was living with them needed to be cared for.
Feel free to go over there and subscribe to Fire and Ice. There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much.
In taking care of her.
Moss added he died before
This cop here looks like Al Horford.
charges could be filed in that case, and it was his son's DNA later on file with the ME's office that helped to confirm he was a match to
Look at this. It's just sad. All these people had lives. You know, it's just 36-year-old case. My God.
Tracy's killer.
I believe he was not in the will, and the son actually lit himself on fire in his vehicle in the driveway of the home while random people were at this estate sale.
Bartlett feels there may be more to the story.
I don't believe that Tracy was his only victim.
Moss says Giat didn't have any other criminal record prior to these homicide investigations. Reporting from Puyallup, Jennifer Dowling, Fox.
That's just good news. You know, people, these cold cases are great when they get solved because, all right, what else was I doing here? I want to go do one more case, then we'll get out of here. Give me a second here. I do want to do we did that one already, right? We did the sinkhole. Oh, I want to do this one here. Hold on a second. Okay. So this was done 3 days ago. I'm glad I remembered this because I want to do this too. Let me stop sharing that. So this happened too this week. This happened a few days ago, and I've been following this case for a while. This is the there've been a lot of these essays going on in Tucson, and they finally got this connects this guy to these here. So let me read this while trying to be YouTube friendly. Tucson police say they've solved a series of RAPE cases from more than 30 years ago, from more than 40 years ago, but tell us the suspect still living in southern Arizona may not face justice. And this, like I said, this was done 3 days ago, December 4th. So let's check this out here. But I think they finally got this guy.
But the suspect breaks in.
Oops.
And then
all because the clock has run out on the statute of limitations, and victims fear the system has failed them.
there are kind of
The thing is that the genetic genealogy is great. You know, it's probably the best thing since fingerprinting, right? But the problem is it costs money to do this. I think it's like, I forget the actual price. Some are going to be more expensive than others because there's so much more involved. So, but it's very expensive, and these departments don't have, the resources to always send these things off to be tested and DNA. But some of these grants, some of these agencies are getting grants now to get some of this stuff solved through the Cold Case Coalition or whatever they call it. I forget what they call it. So that's good news. Some of these police agencies are getting, and there should be grants. There's grants for everything else. There should be grants for this stuff too, because this stuff is important. It's about, finding justice. I mean, this is 30 years.
terrifying cases. They're the victims are home, in some cases asleep, some cases not asleep, but the suspect breaks in and then covers their face and sexually assaults them.
After 34 years, Tucson detectives say
The other thing too is it's not going to do you any good if you keep these guys on the street. These guys need to be caught. That's the it's not going to end.
suspected serial rapist has been identified through DNA. But the statute of limitations in Arizona may prevent prosecutors from seeking a conviction. I spent hours poring over documents related to.
They need to do away with that. They really need to do away with that. Yeah, it's great. It's freaking awesome. They need to do away with that statute of limitations because it's just an anarch. How do I say this the right way? It's an old, just a wicked old statute that needs to go away. Just when those laws were put into place for the statute of limitations, they didn't have DNA stuff. They didn't have ways to solve these cases down the road. So they just need to get rid of these archaic limitations to these. I mean, these are serious offenses here, multiple of violent RAPEs. So it's not just get rid of these limitations. They're archaic. They don't belong in society anymore.
To the investigation. The cases went cold for years until a recent grant allowed TPD to do advanced DNA testing on its rape kits.
We're testing every kit, and we're letting every.
Thank you, Southern Gal. She's always correcting me on my. She's always correcting me on my speech. It's too funny. All right, Jocelyn, I'm out of here anyways. I just wanted to go over this because I almost forgot about this.
Every victim know that if we are able to identify a suspect, we're letting them know who the suspect is. That is their right to know.
The FBI notified TPD in May that the DNA of one man was tied to 3 different rapes from 1989 and 1990 near the U of A. In July,
The DNA didn't even come into existence until I think it was 86. They started to, and being able to, separate DNA didn't come into existence until the 2000s. So these are old cases, man. And the statute of limitations back then probably meant something, but now it doesn't. These people can still be caught. So.
detectives responded to that man's home to serve a warrant to get a cheek swab. Days later, it was confirmed his DNA matched the DNA recovered in all 3 cases. In this lab report, officials note the frequency of occurrence of this DNA profile among unrelated individuals.
It's always good to see you, Jocelyn. Thank you so much for coming in. It's always good to see Jocelyn here. And I hope you have a good week, good rest of the weekend. Thank you. Enjoy the football tomorrow.
And the U.S. population is.
So lab report dated says the suspect DNA previously obtained in this case matches the profile. They should put a name here. I think these people need to just go away. That is one. Look at this number. Look at this number. 1 in. I can't even read that. That's like 17 Earths right there, probably.
Is estimated to be 1 in 610 octillion. That's 610 followed by 27 zeros. But despite the DNA link, he has no.
I'll tell you one thing. This would be right. This would be one hell of a lottery ticket right here. This is what you want. 610 octillion, 27 zeros in a lottery. You want to win that one. That's the one you want to win.
Followed by 27 zeros. But despite the DNA link, he has not yet been charged with the crime.
If I win that much money, I ain't working a day in my freaking life ever again.
That's because the statute of limitations has expired.
He's a serial offender, and I can't arrest him and get him off the streets. It's very alarming.
Through our investigation, we found out Abraham.
To get out of here. All right. So good night, Jenny. Good night, Heather. Yeah, that's a lot of zeros. Holy moly. If I win that much money, we're all going on vacation. All of us. Okay, a couple more minutes of this and I'll get out of here.
Man whose DNA is connected to these cases. We learned Pedrego had recently been employed as a firefighter with South Tucson Fire.
Good night, Heather. Good to see you. Jenny, good night. Thank you for coming in. You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate it.
The Tucson Airport Fire Department and the Picture Rocks Fire District. Both South Tucson and Picture Rocks confirmed they terminated him after learning about the TPD findings. He resigned from the Tucson Airport Authority after they placed him on paid leave for an investigation. To be clear, Pedrego has.
Look at this, high 74, low 40. So the weather here is going to be 30 and low teens. So we want to move right here. This is where we want to be.
Has not been charged with a crime. 13 News wanted to give him the opportunity to talk with us about his DNA being tied to these 2 area fire departments. I stopped by him.
This low here, 39, may be a high this week. So that's how cold it is here.
His house, but the area was gated, so I called.
Hi, Abraham. My name's Mary Coleman. I'm calling from 13 News.
He did not want to talk to us.
Well, thank you again. Just wanted to give you the opportunity to speak.
Document.
It sucks to be a beat reporter because you're trying to get the story and nobody wants to talk.
Revealed he had retained the Suzuki law firm for representation. I made multiple attempts to contact them and did not hear back.
It's pretty horrible. It's frustrating. Makes me angry. I can't really describe it beyond that.
Angry because no matter what the science shows or how much law enforcement.
You're going to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra? Oh my God. You lucky son of a... Oh, that's too funny. That's awesome. Good for you. You deserve it. Good night, Heather E. Thank you so much for coming in. All right, I'm going to end this now. We learned the name of the guy. So let's get out of here. I'll keep following that, I guess, but that's pretty much, hopefully he gets what he deserves. What a piece of dog shit. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. It's, what time is it? Oh my God, it's 4:30. All right. Thank you guys very much for coming in. Been listening to my bullshit for, I saw TSO years ago. I can't wait. I would love to go see that. That's on my bucket list for sure. You're healthy enough. That's awesome. That's good news. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. We love you too, Miranda. I hope you keep feeling better. No more sepsis. Jenny, you're awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. Jenny 8675309 was in here. Son Gal, what can I say? You're awesome. Thank you so much for all your help. You're an amazing person. You got an amazing channel. Heather E, thank you so much for coming in. Heather Brown, you're just excellent. Wouldn't be a chat without you guys. Karen Lee's here. Damn it. Hello as you all go. I feel so bad. Karen Lee's here and I got to go. Timmy's Legacy, Barbara, you're awesome. Karen Lee's awesome too. Thank you, Karen Lee, for showing up. I've been boring people for too long. People are leaving, so I got to get out of here. Fire and Ice was in here. Go check out Fire and Ice's channel. He's awesome. Him and Mark. Let's go. Who else was in here? Charlotte, you're amazing. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll continue with the Princess in the Tower soon. Jocelyn was in here. Jocelyn is great. If you haven't subscribed to Timothy's Legacy's channel, go ahead and do that because she's an amazing person. That's Miss Barbara. She's great. Who else was in here? I know that Dandy Lioness was in here. I got to remember to remove her as a mod. I'll do that as soon as I get out of here. You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate everybody for coming in. I know Mustang 1965 was in here. Mino Dino was in here. How can I forget Mino Dino? He's awesome. And I'm probably not going to get to everybody. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is because I can't scroll all the way up. I don't know why that is. Women Doing Well, Holla, thank you. JCN was in here. She's got a great channel too. All right, I'm going to get out of here. That's it. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. Anybody on the replay crew, thank you guys so much for watching on the replay. Really appreciate everybody that watches on the replay. I appreciate it 100%. Karen Lee, you're awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. Sorry, I can't. Miranda Lee, thank you. Enjoy the concert. All right, I'm going to play my outro and get out of here. Necessarily Evil was here. Happy birthday. And somebody else's birthday was tonight too. I think it was it Miranda Lee? Anyway, if anybody's got a birthday, happy birthday. All right, let's play my outro and get out. Everybody take care. Thank you. Dandies.